Chapter 7:13. If I devour a few more cities, I should be able to gather 50 billion star points. Murong Yu thought to himself as he flew. However, I can't continue devouring cities in this large prefecture. I have to go to Mo Prefecture first. Murong Yu devoured many cities along the way. However, there was a difference between his devouring and that of a resurrected god. Murong Yu only killed those villains with a higher star level. He did not kill the others. The young man, on the other hand, devoured those immortals along with the entire city and refined them directly. He was extremely ferocious. Murong Yu's means paled in comparison to him. Moreover, the young man devoured every city he saw. Murong Yu, on the other hand, had only devoured one in each province. He did not dare to go overboard. Otherwise, if he attracted those terrifying experts, although Murong Yu might not be afraid of them, it would still be quite troublesome. Finally, I'm in Mo Prefecture. Murong Yu looked at the city in front of him that was about the same size as Chang City. His face was full of smiles. As long as he devoured the villains with a higher star level in this city, even if his star points did not reach 50 billion, it would be close to it. He spread out his spiritual force and covered the entire city. Now, Murong Yu's spiritual force was extremely powerful. Moreover, it was hidden in space. As long as he did not deliberately come into contact with some experts, it was very likely that they would discover that he was spying on them. Very good. The strongest person in the city is only a late-stage Immortal Emperor expert. There isn't even a mid-stage Immortal Emperor expert. There isn't even an early-stage Immortal Emperor expert, let alone a mid-stage Immortal Emperor. In this way, it should be easier to devour these villains. Murong Yu smiled as he thought to himself. There was only one Immortal Emperor. It was not a threat to Murong Yu at all. As for the others, Murong Yu had been devouring cities during this period of time and had gained some experience. He had devoured the most star-level villains in the shortest amount of time and suffered the least amount of attack. Just as Murong Yu was about to summon the Hichu Luoshu to devour the city, a look of surprise appeared on his face. Then, he focused his divine consciousness on a middle-aged man. The middle-aged man was currently sitting in the city lord's mansion. He was the ruler of this city, and was also the strongest person in the city. He was the only immortal emperor in the city, a late-stage immortal emperor. The reason why Murong Yu was surprised was not because this person was powerful, nor was it because he had seen something about him. It was only because he felt a vague and familiar aura from this person. Familiar. This didn't mean that Murong Yu had seen or interacted with Murong Yu's aura before. The familiarity he was referring to here was actually just like how the large black dog felt when he saw another heavenly dog. It was an aura that belonged to the same kind. Origin aura. Murong Yu was somewhat excited. He felt the origin aura of the cultivation world on this person. In other words, this person had the origin aura of the cultivation world on him. In that case, he might be an enforcer of the cultivation world. Let's go and confirm it first. Murong Yu's divine consciousness approached. The origin aura of the cultivation world was very obscure. It was difficult for ordinary people to detect it no matter how strong they were. If not for the fact that Murong Yu was also an enforcer of several cultivation worlds, he probably wouldn't have discovered it. Right now, Murong Yu could be said to be the most powerful Punisher in history, bar none. Of course, this wasn't about his strength, but about the fact that he controlled several cultivation worlds. There was no one before and no one after that. He really does have the origin aura of the cultivation world on him. There's no mistake about it. Good fellow, this guy is actually the city lord of this city. If I hadn't discovered him this time, it would have been extremely difficult to discover him. While Murong Yu was inwardly rejoicing, he also felt lucky. If he hadn't discovered Du Zhao's identity as an enforcer, Murong Yu might not have been able to kill him this time. Moreover, if he missed this opportunity, it would be difficult to find this person again. However, since he had been discovered by Morong Yu, he was destined to suffer a tragedy. Whoosh! In a flash, Morong Yu appeared in the city lord's mansion. He decided to deal with this person first. Otherwise, once he started to devour the city, this person might take advantage of the chaos to escape. Who are you? Ding Feng was shocked by the sudden appearance of Morong Yu. Then, he looked at Morong Yu with a gloomy face. However, when he saw that Morong Yu was only an immortal lord, a strong murderous intent erupted from his body. However, the murderous intent soon disappeared. Instead, he looked at Morong Yu with a serious expression. To be honest, Ding Feng didn't know how Morong Yu had come in. He didn't even notice any fluctuations in space or energy before Morong Yu came in. It was precisely because of this that Ding Feng's expression became serious. This was because he felt that Morong Yu wasn't simple. If he was an ordinary immortal lord, how could he appear in front of him without a sound? In reality, Morong Yu was much stronger than him to begin with. Moreover, Morong Yu had directly escaped into space and crossed countless spacetime to appear. Not to mention Ding Feng, who was only a late-stage immortal lord, even an immortal reverent expert might not be able to discover him. Morong Yu only glanced at Ding Feng indifferently. He didn't say anything and just sat down on a chair at the side. It was as though he had returned to his own home. Being looked down upon by Morong Yu, even a clay figurine would be angry, let alone a late-stage immortal lord. Moreover, this was his place. Who are you? Why are you here? Ding Feng asked. If it wasn't for Morong Yu's sudden appearance, he would have already slapped Morong Yu. If you don't want to die, why don't you try? Morong Yu looked at Ding Feng indifferently and said indifferently. Ding Feng's eyes flashed coldly. Do you know that trespassing into the city lord mansion is a crime punishable by death? If you don't have a reason today, you can stay here forever. Don't tell me you want me to stay here forever? But your place is a little small. I'm not interested. I came here today to ask you for something. If you give it to me, I promise to leave immediately. How about it? Ding Feng frowned and said solemnly, What do you want? Ding Feng was very unhappy. If it wasn't for Morong Yu's scruples, he would have killed Morong Yu. It's not something from before. It won't take your life. You don't have to be so angry. What exactly do you want? If it's within my acceptable range, I can give it to you. Ding Feng was a little impatient. The cultivation world's origin energy. What? Ding Feng almost jumped up in shock. His heart was fiercely shaken. Not many people knew that he was an enforcer. Even the Heavenly Punisher Palace didn't know. Because every time he went to the Heavenly Punisher Palace, he used another identity. What origin energy? I don't know. I don't have it here. You should leave quickly. Although Ding Feng was shocked, he maintained a calm expression on the surface and even pretended to be puzzled. Morong Yu sneered in his heart. Ding Feng, don't play dumb. You're an enforcer. Don't think I don't know. Don't play dumb. In short, if you give me the origin energy today, I won't make things difficult for you. If you don't want to, then don't blame me for being ruthless. Morong Yu sneered. Ding Feng's eyebrows flashed with a cold light. Then he said in shock, How do you know I'm an enforcer? Because I'm an enforcer. Cut the crap. Are you going to give it to me or not? Morong Yu said coldly. Boy, you're also an enforcer. You naturally know that my world's origin energy has no effect on you. What do you want it for? Ding Feng was furious. He slammed the table and stood up. You just need to answer me or not. I won't give it to you, boom. Before Ding Feng could finish speaking, his body fiercely exploded. Suddenly, a very terrifying aura burst out from his body. As for Ding Feng, he raised his strength to the limit. With a flash of his body, he smashed through the void and charged towards Morong Yu. A lion would use all its strength to hunt a rabbit. Ding Feng firmly believed in this. Therefore, the moment he attacked, he raised his strength to the limit. Die, you brat! Endless misty rain. As he spoke, he'd already arrived in front of Murong Yu and sent a punch at him. Fool! You're courting death. Murong Yu's eyes flashed coldly as he shouted disdainfully. At the same time, he also punched out. Boom! Murong Yu stood still on the spot. However, Ding Feng was sent flying like a kite with a broken string. He spat out blood in the void. This? How is this possible? You're just an early-stage immortal monarch. How can you send me flying with a punch and injure me? Ding Feng looked at Murong Yu in shock. His face was filled with disbelief. Murong Yu stood up with disdain. At the same time, he took a step forward and looked at Ding Feng coldly. Trash like you, do you think you're invincible? Very well. Ding Feng took a deep breath. You're very powerful, but you must die today. Even if a god descends to the mortal world, he won't be able to save you. You're dead meat. As he spoke, crackling sounds came from Ding Feng's body. Waves of powerful aura burst out like a violent storm. Murong Yu just stood on the spot and looked at Ding Feng indifferently. He didn't stop Ding Feng from increasing his strength. God descends to the mortal world. Ding Feng finally raised his strength to the limit. Suddenly, he roared. His body suddenly burst out with a dazzling golden light. The golden light became more and more dazzling, like the sun in the sky. At the same time, a vast, ancient, and desolate aura was emitted from his body. At the same time, the void above his head shattered. A tall golden figure stepped out from the void. Chapter 7:14. Suddenly, the void was trampled by this tall golden figure, and large pieces of it shattered. A vast, ancient, powerful, and terrifying aura emanated from the golden figure, shattering the void as it pressed down on Murong Yu like a raging wave. At this moment, Murong Yu's heart was filled with an irresistible feeling of submission. Those who offend the prestige of God shall die. The golden figure looked at Murong Yu, roared, and slapped down with his palm. Suddenly, an earth-shattering chi burst out, tearing the void apart, wanting to smash Murong Yu into pieces. When Murong Yu saw the golden silhouette's large hand coming at him, the confusion in his eyes instantly cleared up. Then, an endless amount of murderous intent burst out. That was close. Murong Yu exclaimed in his heart. Just now, when the golden figure had appeared, his mind had been unknowingly affected. After being affected, he had a feeling that he was no match for this golden figure, and he wanted to submit to it. Even when the golden figure wanted to kill him, he didn't even want to fight back. It was as if he was waiting to be killed. Naturally, the golden figure didn't have such powerful strength. Not to mention that it was just a phantom. Even a powerful god wouldn't be able to make Murong Yu have such thoughts. When Ding Feng saw that Murong Yu had regained his senses in the blink of an eye, he couldn't help being shocked. This move, Descending of Gods, was Ding Feng's ultimate skill. He had killed countless people with this move, even early immortal venerables. In fact, the lethality of this move wasn't very strong. However, the terrifying part of this move wasn't its lethality, but its effect on the opponent's mind. The moment the golden figure appeared, it had already affected the opponent's mind, making him think that he couldn't resist and was waiting to be killed. Ding Feng took the opportunity to kill the opponent while he was in a daze. Ding Feng had tried and tested this move time and time again. It was unknown how many experts had died under this move. There was even an early immortal venerable who was killed by this strike. It was extremely terrifying. However, this move failed when it was used on Murong Yu. Murong Yu's mind was also in a daze for a moment, but he recovered quickly. It was so fast that Ding Feng didn't even have time to react. You're courting death. Murong Yu was enraged when he came to his senses. He was furious because he was in a daze for a moment. He took a step forward and used the elephant-pulling fist of the 1,000 armies to attack him. Immediately, 500,000 dragons of earth dragon power burst out. Bang! A muffled sound rang out as Murong Yu's fist landed on the golden figure. The terrifying power burst out, the golden figure's big hand was instantly smashed into powder. At the same time, Murong Yu took a step forward and extended his hand, grabbing at the golden silhouette in the air. It was the second style of the armored bone dragon claw, 1,000 whirlpool 10,000 claws. Poochie. Although the golden figure's figure, Murong Yu's strength, it wasn't easy. A claw reached out. The golden figure made a silent sound and was torn apart. It turned into the most primitive power and dissipated between heaven and earth. Ding Feng looked at Murong Yu in shock and couldn't help but take a few steps back. In the process, he even spat out blood. His power was broken, so he naturally suffered a backlash. Murong Yu was too strong. Stepping out, Murong Yu looked at Ding Feng coldly. A thought came to his mind. His mind was very strong. Ordinary people couldn't affect his mind at all. However, Ding Feng's deities descending was able to affect him. If he could obtain this deities descending to the mortal world, then his strength would increase explosively. I must take down Ding Feng and obtain the technique for deities descending. Murong Yu instantly made up his mind. At the same time, the way he looked at Ding Feng had changed. It was like a hungry wolf that saw food. Whoosh! Seeing Murong Yu closing in, Ding Feng's face changed. He suddenly turned around and retreated. Then, he soared into the sky and tried to escape. He had seen Murong Yu's strength. His strongest power was broken by Murong Yu. He knew that he was no match for this beginner immortal. Therefore, he didn't want to continue fighting. He wanted to escape. However, Murong Yu didn't chase after him when he saw him running away. Instead, he sneered and said indifferently, "Run. Let's see where you can run to. Suppress him." Ding Feng, who had just soared into the air and was about to shatter the roof of the hall, suddenly felt an extremely dangerous feeling in his heart. At the same time, a dangerous aura pressed down on him from above. Boom! An invisible hand appeared and slapped on Ding Feng's body. A formidable power erupted, and Ding Feng suddenly felt as if he had received a heavy blow. It was as if he had been ruthlessly struck by a divine mountain. His body cracked and his meridians were shattered. Bang! Ding Feng was mercilessly slammed into the ground, and the ground of the city lord's mansion was immediately shattered. His entire body sunk deep into the ground as he coughed up blood. "I told you that you have nowhere to run. You didn't believe me. Hey, do you believe me now?" Murong Yu said indifferently and punched out. Puff! Before Ding Feng could even react, Murong Yu's fist had already landed on his body, causing his body to nearly collapse. "Ha ha! You want to kill me? That's impossible. You can't kill me. Ding Feng, will remember what happened today. I will repay you 1,000,000,000 times in the future." Ding Feng suddenly laughed. Murong Yu's face changed. He knew that Ding Feng wanted to escape. He wanted to use his origin energy to teleport back to the cultivation world. As long as he escaped, Murong Yu would leave behind a great enemy. Regardless of whether it was Ding Feng's origin energy, his deity descending, or the fact that he had left behind a powerful enemy for himself, Murong Yu would never let Ding Feng off the hook. Spatial energy, suppress him. Murong Yu was truly the owner of a stall. He spread open his fingers and grabbed at Ding Feng. In an instant, the space around Ding Feng was locked down. Ding Feng was shocked. He couldn't move. It was as if he was frozen. However, spatial imprisonment was hundreds of millions of times stronger than ice. The moment Ding Feng was imprisoned, Murong Yu rushed over and punched at Ding Feng's dantian. With a muffled sound, Ding Feng's dantian was shattered. Instantly, Ding Feng's entire person deflated like a deflated balloon. At the same time, Murong Yu grabbed Ding Feng's head and started to read his memories. With his dantian destroyed, Ding Feng became a cripple. At the same time, he sensed that the origin energy that was usually closely connected to him was rapidly fading. Ding Feng had become a cripple. The origin energy of the cultivation world. he was in naturally wouldn't stay with him. It was gradually removing its ownership. It's not wrong to kill this guy. Murong Yu quickly found the cultivation method for deity descent. At the same time, he saw many of Ding Feng's memories. This guy had done all kinds of bad things. He had an extremely high villain star rating. After obtaining the deity's descend technique, Murong Yu roared, "Misty Rain Cultivation World's origin, if not now, then when?" Whoosh! As if responding to Murong Yu's words, a gray ball of origin energy rushed out of Ding Feng's body and shot into the distance. "You can't escape. I've sealed the entire space," Murong Yu said indifferently. At the same time, he stretched out his hand and grabbed the ball of Misty Rain Cultivation World's source energy. Although the Misty Rain Cultivation World's origin source was fast, Murong Yu was even faster. With a swipe of his hand, he had already grabbed it. Then, he sealed it and threw it into his dantian. "You've got everything now. Let me go." Ding Feng bellowed at Murong Yu with a look of despair. "Let you go? When did I say I'd let you go?" Murong Yu sneered and struck out with his palm. With a bang, Ding Feng exploded into a bloody mist. He couldn't be more dead. Murong Yu definitely wouldn't let Ding Feng live. This guy knew that he could collect the origin energy of the cultivation world. He might expose that Murong Yu could refine the origin energy of multiple cultivation world. Murong Yu didn't want to expose it too early. Otherwise, it would be difficult for him to find them when the other enforcers knew about it. Moreover, other people would be eyeing him covetously and cause a lot of unnecessary trouble. What a pleasant surprise. I didn't expect to find an enforcer here. In that case, I'll refine the origin energy of this cultivation world first. Murong Yu sat cross-legged and started to refine the origin energy of the cultivation world. At this time, Murong Yu had already controlled 4 cultivation world. Huaxia, Fenghua, Daluo, Jiuxuan. If he refined the origin energy of the Misty Rain world, he would control 5 cultivation world. Originally, Murong Yu thought that he would need some strength before refining the origin energy of the Misty Rain world. However, he didn't expect that after seeing that Murong Yu had already controlled 4 cultivation worlds, the origin energy of the Misty Rain world would submit to Murong Yu and allow him to refine it easily. Rumble, just as Murong Yu refined the origin energy of the Misty Rain world, a powerful aura burst out from his body. Streams of extremely condensed earth dragon power appeared above his head out of thin air. 510,000, 520,000, 550,000, 580,000 Murong Yu's heavenly dragon's strength kept increasing by 10,000 points. In the end, it directly broke through to 600,000 points before stopping. In other words, Murong Yu had obtained 100,000 dragon power just by refining the origin energy of the Misty Rain world. What if he completely controlled the Misty Rain world? Then, to what extent would his strength soar? Chapter 7:15. With 600,000 Earth Dragon Force, Murong Yu's strength had exceeded the strength of an ordinary late immortal emperor. An ordinary late immortal emperor would only have 10,000 Earth Dragon Force. Even an early immortal venerable expert would only have about 1 million Earth Dragon Force. Although Murong Yu's 600,000 Earth Dragon Force was still a far cry from an early immortal venerable expert, the gap was gradually shrinking. If Murong Yu used all kinds of cultivation techniques and treasures, he might even be able to kill an immortal venerable expert. Moreover, this was only the initial stage of refining the origin energy of the Misty Rain world. What if he completely controlled the entire Misty Rain world? His strength would definitely increase exponentially, and he might even break through to the intermediate immortal monarch realm. Murong Yu didn't immediately take control of the Misty Rain world, nor did he devour the city. Instead, he remained in the City Lord Mansion. Deities Descending. Murong Yu was currently comprehending the move Deities Descending. Deities Descending was a set of combat techniques, but it was also a set of cultivation technique. In the process of comprehending, Murong Yu's face gradually revealed a look of astonishment. Deities descending was similar to the final move of the dragon-elephant Prajna technique, dark god and devil Prajna. A single move would form the shadow of a god and devil. However, there was a huge difference between the two. Dark god and devil Prajna was a pure attack of strength, using absolute strength to crush everything. On the other hand, deities descending was a mental attack of strength, and most importantly, it was an attack of the mind. Ordinary people who didn't have a strong enough mind would be subdued by the golden figure. Once the enemy lost his mind, it would be the moment of death. Good fella, this move is simply heaven-defying. Even with Ding Feng's strength, he can kill an early immortal venerable expert. If I use it well, wouldn't killing an early immortal venerable expert be as easy as chopping vegetables? Murong Yu had read Ding Feng's memories, so he knew how powerful this move was. Moreover, he had personally experienced the might of this move. Ding Feng's dragon force was only around 100,000 units. If he could kill an early immortal venerable with this amount of dragon force, what more Murong Yu? At this moment, Murong Yu wished he could master Deity's Descent as soon as possible so that he could find a super expert to show off his skills. With a flash, Murong Yu entered the Hichu Luoshu world. Of course, he did not leave. After entering the Hichu Luoshu world, he sat down cross-legged and began to cultivate Deity Descent. With his strength, it wouldn't be a problem for Murong Yu to master Deity Descent in a short period of time. However, Murong Yu clearly didn't want to master this terrifyingly powerful technique. In this chaotic era, one more ultimate technique meant one more life. Time acceleration. Murong Yu shouted as he activated the time acceleration and began to cultivate. After half an hour in the immortal world, Murong Yu had already cultivated for over 100 years under the time acceleration. With a flash, Murong Yu reappeared in the City Lord Mansion. After over 100 years of cultivation, I've finally mastered the deity's descent. Now it's time to get down to business. Murong Yu roared as he took a step forward. He disappeared from the City Lord Mansion and appeared in the sky above the city. Hichu Luoshu devour. Murong Yu roared in his heart. Hichu Luoshu appeared out of thin air and devoured the city. At this moment, Murong Yu's strength was much stronger than before. He had an extra 100,000 Earth Dragon power. Moreover, there wasn't even an immortal emperor in this city. Therefore, it was very easy for him to devour the city. Of course, burning his immortal meridians was still necessary. With Murong Yu's current strength, he wouldn't be able to devour the city without burning his immortal meridians. It didn't take long for Murong Yu to devour all the villains in the city and disappear. I have 48 billion star points now. If I devour another city, I should be able to gather 50 billion star points. However, I should first take control of the Misty Rain cultivation world. Murong Yu pondered. With a flash, he teleported to the Misty Rain cultivation world's origin world. Half a day later, Murong Yu's body shook violently as a powerful aura emanated from his body. Rumble, incomparably condensed earth dragon phantoms continuously appeared out of thin air. 600,000, 610,000. Finally, 700,000 earth dragon phantoms hovered above Murong Yu's head. In other words, Murong Yu's strength had increased by another 100,000 earth dragon power. He was one step closer to the early immortal venerable realm's strength of 1 million earth dragon power. I have a feeling that my realm is about to break through. Once I break through to the intermediate immortal monarch realm, my strength should be able to increase to 1 million earth dragon power. However, if I don't break through, my earth dragon power won't continue to increase. 700,000 earth dragon power is already the limit that I can bear. Murong Yu's strength had already been raised to the limit. If he didn't break through, even if he refined more origin world and controlled more cultivation worlds, he wouldn't be able to increase his strength, even if it was one Earth Dragon power. However, I still have to kill the enforcers and continue to control the cultivation world. Increasing my strength is just one aspect. The main thing is to increase my talent. Morong Yu sensed that after he completely controlled the Misty Rain cultivation world, his talent had once again increased by a small level. He had become stronger and stronger. Therefore, even if he couldn't increase his strength by controlling the cultivation world, he still had to control it. After all, if his talent increased, he might be able to break through one day. This was definitely a good thing. I should first gather the last 2 billion star points and increase the strength of Shenzhen and the Heavenly Court as soon as possible. Morong Yu muttered in his heart. Then, he appeared at the place where he had disappeared from. Not long after, he arrived at the vicinity of another city. Then, he instantly spread out his enormous spirit sense. That resurrected god is massacring the city? Morong Yu originally wanted to refine the city. However, he heard the experts in the city discussing about the resurrected god. With a flicker, Morong Yu appeared in a restaurant in the city. Did you guys know? That resurrected god has been massacring the city crazily these days. This matter has already spread like wildfire in the immortal world. Who doesn't know about it? However, that guy is too cruel. He actually uprooted the entire city. I heard that he directly swallowed the entire city into his stomach and refined it. Now, there are already hundreds of cities of average size in the northern part of the immortal world that have been devoured by him. His methods are too cruel. Moreover, that person's cultivation is gradually recovering. His strength is already very strong. It's said that someone saw him reach out with his big hand and directly grab the entire city. Such terrifying strength, ordinary immortal supremes can't do it, right? Of course, ordinary immortal supremes can't do it. But who is that guy? He's a god. He keeps sacrificing cities. His strength is recovering more and more. When that time comes, I'm afraid our entire immortal world will be sacrificed by him. That shouldn't be right. Why not? That person is so cruel. As long as the sacrifice of the entire immortal world helps his strength, he'll definitely sacrifice it. He's too cruel. However, it seems that something like this has happened in the large states near us recently. Many experts in the cities were taken away by the mysterious experts. In the end, all of them died. Is it that God's good deed? Everyone was shocked and asked about what was going on. Thus, the matter of those cities being devoured by Morong Yu was revealed. In fact, the news of these cities being devoured has already spread. It's just that it hasn't spread here yet. It shouldn't be that God's doing. That God is millions of times more cruel. He had swallowed the entire city. This should be someone taking advantage of the situation. Then will we. Someone's expression changed. It shouldn't be, but that God's cruelty won't last for long. Now the 4 giants of the immortal world have joined forces. They want to unite all the forces in the immortal world to form an alliance to fight against that person. 4 giants? Where did the 4th one come from? The 4th one is the Heavenly Punisher Palace. Its strength is not below the 3 giants of the Immortal Palace and the Devil Sect. The Heavenly Punisher Palace has finally appeared. Morong Yu's heart moved and continued to listen to those people's discussion. The 4 giants have joined forces to form an alliance. Many forces and individuals have already joined this alliance. I'm afraid the immortal world will be unified. Is the immortal world alliance a match for that god? That person who appears and disappears unpredictably and is so powerful. Unify the immortal world. Morong Yu furrowed his brows. If the 4 giants joined forces, they would definitely be able to unify the immortal world. At that time, all the large and small forces in the immortal world will become their subordinates and part of their alliance. At that time, even if that god recovers to his peak, he won't be a match for this alliance, because he won't be able to exert his greatest strength. But the Immortal World Alliance can use numbers to crush this god. Once this god is killed, the Immortal World will be truly unified. Everyone will have to submit to the Alliance. Just like the Imperial Court in the mortal world. If this Imperial Court is a good one, then so be it. But Murong Yu knows that this Immortal World Alliance is definitely not a good thing. After all, if the four giants formed an alliance, it would be strange if there weren't any conflicts of interest. Moreover, at that time, the Immortal World is so big that there really won't be a place for Murong Yu to stand. I definitely won't join this alliance. Even if the Immortal World is to be unified, it will be ruled by me. Murong Yu's eyes flashed with a sharp light. His figure flashed and disappeared from the restaurant. Immediately, the city was enveloped by boundless darkness. A huge suction force came down and one by one, the villains were sucked up. The situation is grim. If Murong Yu wants to fight against that god and the Immortal World Alliance, he must have enough strength. Chapter 7:16. 50 billion, it's finally 50 billion. After Murong Yu devoured this city, his star points finally broke through the 50 billion mark. Moreover, there was an extra 100 million. 1 billion. After hearing Steward Tian's reminder, Murong Yu instantly became excited. What did 50 billion mean? It meant that he could exchange for the Breaking Emperor Pill from the Tian FA token. However, the Breaking Emperor Pill could allow a person to easily break through to the Immortal Emperor stage. Moreover, the most important thing was that Murong Yu could mass-produce the Breaking Emperor Pill. As long as there were large amounts of Breaking Emperor Pills, then Shenzhen, Celestial Palace and Heavenly Court, even though they hadn't been around for long, with the support of large amounts of resources, Mo Wuji believed that their strength would increase exponentially. Young Master, do you want to exchange for the Breaking Emperor Pill? Steward Tian asked respectfully. Exchange, why wouldn't I exchange? Immediately exchange it for me. Murong Yu suppressed the excitement in his heart, calmed down and said to Steward Tian. If he didn't want to exchange, then what was the point of him working so hard to earn star points? Young Master, are you sure you want to exchange for the Breaking Emperor Pill? Once you exchange, there's no going back. Steward Tian confirmed with Murong Yu once again. Murong Yu nodded and said, exchange it. All right. Steward Tian nodded and waved his hand. At this instant, Murong Yu felt as though something was flowing away from his body. He knew that the 50 billion star points that he worked so hard to earn was gone with a wave of Steward Tian's hand. Fortunately, soon, a round pill the size of a longan appeared in Steward Tian's hand. It was emitting a faint glow. Young Master, this is the Breaking Emperor Pill. However, a single Breaking Emperor Pill might not be able to allow a late-stage, Immortal Monarch stage Immortal to break through. It would depend on luck. As he spoke, Steward Tian handed the Breaking Emperor Pill to Murong Yu. Murong Yu rolled his eyes. He felt that the exchange system was too much of a scam. 50 billion star points could only be exchanged for a single Breaking Emperor Pill. However, this Breaking Emperor Pill might not be able to allow a late-stage, Immortal Monarch stage Immortal to break through. One had to know that this was 50 billion star points, not 50 billion Immortal Spirit Pills. If Murong Yu did not have the Universe Yin-Yang Cauldron, he would never have exchanged for this Breaking Emperor Pill. That was because it was simply too useless and too expensive. Fortunately, he had the Yin-Yang Cauldron. Whoosh! After Murong Yu felt the incomparable power contained in the Breakthrough Emperor Pill, his figure flickered and disappeared from the place. It appeared in the Hichu Luoshu world. Start analyzing the composition of the Breaking Emperor Pill. Once the analysis is complete, immediately mass-produce it. Murong Yu handed the Breaking Emperor Pill to Hichu. Only Hichu could control the Yin-Yang Cauldron and analyze it, while Murong Yu only knew how to use the Yin-Yang Cauldron to kill the enemy. Seeing this, some people might ask why Morong Yu wanted 50 billion star points to exchange for a Breaking Emperor pill, instead of directly exchanging for the Breaking Emperor pill's pill recipe. In that case, wouldn't it save him the trouble of analyzing it? In fact, Morong Yu could only exchange for the Breaking Emperor pill. Think about it, if a Breaking Emperor pill cost 50 billion star points, then how many star points would a complete pill recipe cost? It would be at least 1 billion times more than 50 billion star points. If Morong Yu wanted to gather enough star points, it would be too late. Why was a pill recipe so expensive? As the saying goes, rare goods are worth hoarding. For example, in the secular world, if a sect obtained a legendary top-grade elixir that had been lost for a long time, would this sect directly buy the elixir recipe, or would they manufacture the elixir and then sell it? Perhaps they could make a lot of money by selling the pill recipe directly, but would they be able to make as much money as manufacturing and selling the pill themselves? Therefore, they would only sell the pill and not the pill recipe. Moreover, Morong Yu guessed that even if he wanted to exchange for the pill recipe of the Breaking Emperor pill, he might not be able to do so. Even if he could, it was a high price that he would never be able to afford. Moreover, even if Morong Yu could exchange for the pill recipe, it would probably be useless. This was because the Yin-Yang Cauldron could only analyze the pill and not the pill recipe. Moreover, the most important thing was that after the Yin-Yang Cauldron analyzed the pill recipe would be completely restored. In other words, Morong Yu only needed to use a single pill to reverse engineer the pill's formula. The Breaking Emperor pill is more powerful and of a higher grade. It might take some time to analyze it. Moreover, it might take some time to manufacture it. Hichu looked at the Breaking Emperor pill and said, "It doesn't matter if it takes some time. The most important thing is that it can be manufactured in batches. By the way, is it possible to accelerate time?" Morong Yu suddenly asked. If time was accelerated, it wouldn't be a problem no matter how much time was needed. It can't. During the analysis, the Yin-Yang Cauldron needs to communicate with the world. If time was accelerated, it would only accelerate the inside of Hichu Luoshu. It wouldn't be of any help. Hichu quickly shook his head. In that case, try to be as fast as possible. Morong Yu waved his hand and shooed Hichu away. However, he fell into deep thought. Now that I have the Breaking Emperor pill, as long as I have enough time, I can turn Shenzhen, Celestial Palace, and Heavenly Court into the strongest forces in the immortal world. At that time, if the entire sect is filled with immortal Emperor realm experts, who would be our opponent? However, a Breaking Emperor pill requires 50 billion star points. What if it's a pill that can allow people to break through to the immortal reverent realm? How many star points would it require? Morong Yu thought in his heart. He had an impulse to ask the Heavenly Steward. Morong Yu didn't doubt whether there was such a pill. He firmly believed that there was. This was because the person who created the Heavenly Punishment token wasn't anyone else but the heavens. As long as he was willing, as long as he paid the right price, he could create something even if it didn't exist. Forget it, let's not worry about it for now. The price must be very depressing. Now that everything is ready, I'm just waiting for the east wind. I don't have to worry about the sect for now. Right now, it's more important to increase my strength. God Luo Cultivation World's Enforcer, Deng Tian, appeared in Emojo. I wonder if he's still there. Let's go take a look first. Morong Yu left Hichu Luoshu and appeared in the outside world. Then, he tore open the void with his bare hands and directly went through space. He quickly rushed towards Emojo. However, Morong Yu had a feeling that even if he went to Emojo, he wouldn't gain anything. Sure enough, when Morong Yu went to Majo, he didn't find Deng Tian at all after a thorough investigation. However, he did find evidence that Deng Tian had appeared in Emojo. As a 5 enforcer, Morong Yu was becoming more and more sensitive to the aura of the cultivation world's origin. Now, even if he didn't get close to the other enforcers, he could still find the aura left behind by the cultivation world's origin. Perhaps he was the only one in the world with this ability. A lot of people went to Kai-Jian? Murong Yu discovered this after arriving at Emojo. Kai-Jian was one of the 10 great continents of the immortal world, just like Lingnan. Moreover, the 4 giants of the immortal world weren't in Kai-Jian, and Kai-Jian was located in the center of the immortal world. Because of this, the Immortal World Alliance chose Kai-Jian as their headquarters. Now that the Immortal World Alliance was officially established, any expert in the immortal world could join the alliance. The stronger the person, the more benefits they would get from the Immortal World Alliance. This was because the Immortal World Alliance wanted to unify the immortal world. Once the immortal world was unified by the Immortal World Alliance, how terrifying would the benefits be? Therefore, a lot of people went to join the Immortal World Alliance, striving to gain a certain status and a certain amount of benefits. Interesting, why don't I join in as well? Murong Yu found it interesting, so his figure flashed and he returned to Lingnan City. There was a transportation array in Lingnan City that led directly to Kai-Jian. Did you know? An organization called the Divine Union has appeared in the north of the immortal world. It's very powerful and already controls many great continents in the north of the immortal world. Divine Union? Could it be an alliance formed by that god? Damn it, that bastard killed so many experts of the immortal world so brutally and there are still people following him? Damn it. Someone roared angrily after hearing the news. They had no choice. I heard that many immortal supremacies were controlled by that god. Even the leaders of many forces were controlled and their subordinates had no choice but to join the Divine Union. Moreover, the benefits in the Divine Union are very good. That god is very generous. Murong Yu's body shook violently and his face revealed a look of surprise. He did not expect to hear this good news as soon as he returned to Lingnan City. That guy actually formed an alliance? Could it be that they want to fight in the immortal world? Damn it. Murong Yu cursed in his heart. He did not know what that god was thinking. He actually formed an alliance. Could it be that he also knows that he can't fight against the entire immortal world alone? So he can only form an alliance, and then both sides will fight to the death and finally reap the benefits? Yes, that must be the case. This guy is so cruel. Once he recovers his peak strength, I'm afraid he will sacrifice the entire immortal world. However, the Immortal World Alliance is fighting against him now. Well, they probably won't attack me for the time being. Not good. Murong Yu's face suddenly changed and then his figure flashed and disappeared. At the same time, outside Feng City in Feng Province. Murong Yu, get out here. Outside Feng City, a group of experts exuding a terrifying aura and murderous aura looked down at the heavenly court below. The terrifying aura pressed down on Feng City like a stormy sea, causing the city to flicker with divine light. This was because the great city defense array of Feng City had sensed the great power and threat and was automatically activated to respond. Chapter 717. Asterisk bang, bang, bang. Asterisk even though the Lake City Grand Formation of Feng City had been activated automatically, the strength of the invaders was too terrifying. In just a moment, millions of weak immortals in Feng City were crushed by the terrifying chi. Activate the Grand Formation of the city and the exalted Immortal Grand Formation. He Hu and the others reacted immediately and shouted furiously. However, although they were caught off guard by the sudden attack and were infuriated by the death of the immortals in Feng City, they remained calm and composed. They continued to arrange the formation in an orderly manner, while the experts of Heaven Court began to maintain the teleportation formation. Who the hell are these people? How could they be so powerful? He Hu and the others looked at the dozens of people outside the city with an ugly expression. All of them were very strong. None of them was weak. They all seemed to be immortal venerables. The weakest of them is at the early immortal venerable realm. They have definitely surpassed the immortal emperor realm. Xiaohojue narrowed his eyes and said in a deep voice. All of them are immortal venerables? He Hu and the others couldn't help but suck in a breath of cold air. After all, there were more than 50 experts outside. If they were really immortal venerables, it would be too terrifying. Given their strength, they were more than enough to destroy the grand formation of Heaven Court, uprooting the entire Heaven Court. Although there were only 50 of them, the difference in numbers was too big compared to the dozens of major powers including Zhang family. However, even if the number of Zhang family and the other families was several times greater, they still wouldn't be a match for these immortal venerables. Even an immortal venerable expert could easily slaughter countless experts below the immortal venerable realm. We have to inform the Sacred Lord about this immediately. He Hu and the others knew the seriousness of the matter. If they didn't handle it properly, Heaven Court might be destroyed. However, before He Hu and the others could inform Murongyu, the people outside had already grown impatient. Murongyu, I'll give you 10 breaths. If you don't come out in 10 breaths, all of you will die. Everyone, let's teach them a lesson first. The young man in the lead roared again, and then said to the experts behind him indifferently. The 50 immortal venerables didn't say a word. Instead, they struck at the same time. In an instant, countless terrifying forces erupted, blotting out the sky, shattering the void and smashing the grand formation of the heavenly court. Rumble! In the face of such a fierce attack, all the city-guarding arrays in the heavenly court were activated and reacted in the most intense way. In an instant, all kinds of colored lights filled the sky like exploding fireworks, bright and beautiful. Kacha, Kacha! The great city-protecting array erupted with divine light that soared into the sky. However, the divine light that filled the sky could not conceal the sound of glass shattering. Upon hearing this voice, Black Tiger and the others' expressions changed drastically. This was because they all knew what this sound meant. It meant that the great city barrier array had reached its limit. This was the sound of the array being operated to its limit. If the other party continued to attack, these teleportation arrays would not be able to withstand it. Bang! 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 At the same time that the great city barrier array was attacked, countless immortals in Feng City were once again turned into clouds of blood mist. They were actually killed by the shockwave. At least 10 million immortals were killed by the shockwave. Black Tiger's expression was very unsightly as he said through gritted teeth. Inform the Sacred Lord immediately. Feng Shen's face was also full of anger. Although the people outside were no longer attacking. However, the other party had already begun to count. If Murongyu did not appear within 10 breaths, Black Tiger and the others had no doubt that those people would continue to attack. If that was the case, they wouldn't just attack once. They probably wouldn't stop until the heavenly court was wiped off the face of this world. No need, I'm already here. Just as Black Tiger was about to report to Murongyu's voice rang in their ears. Black Tiger and the others were overjoyed, as if they had found their backbone. However, they looked at Murongyu with a little worry. There's no need to look, this is my true body, Murongyu said in a low voice. He knew what Black Tiger and the others were worried about. Previously, Murongyu had left a power clone in the heavenly court. However, the power of that clone was not up to par. Black Tiger and the others thought it was Murongyu's clone. If it was just a clone, it would not be able to resolve today's matter. Black Tiger and the others breathed a sigh of relief when they heard Murongyu's words. Just as they were about to speak, Murongyu waved his hand and said, "This matter ends here." As he spoke, Murongyu had already soared into the sky. At the same time, his voice drifted throughout Feng City. "Everyone, I am Murongyu. I am very sorry for the casualties today. However, please rest assured that no one has ever bullied me, Murongyu, or the Heavenly Court. Anyone who offends the Heavenly Court will be killed, no matter how far away they are." Hearing Murongyu's words, The immortals in Feng City, who were originally hesitant and panicked, instantly calmed down. They all knew that Murong Yu's strength was incomparably powerful. Moreover, ever since Murong Yu had turned the tide and single-handedly destroyed the joint attack of more than a dozen first-rate forces, his prestige had risen to a peak. Many people, regardless of whether they were from the heavenly court or not, had already developed a blind faith in Murong Yu. They all believed that Murong Yu would be able to resolve this matter. In an instant, the originally noisy Feng City immediately quieted down after Murong Yu's voice spread out. Seeing this scene, the experts outside Feng City were all shocked. Each and every one of them looked at Murong Yu, who was slowly rising into the air, with disbelief in their eyes. Jiao Li was even more shocked and jealous. That's right, he was jealous of Murong Yu's outstanding leadership ability and frightening prestige. That's right. This leading youth was Jiao Li, who was once deprived of the origin of the cultivation world by Murong Yu, and was later rescued by an expert. At this moment, Jiao Li was glaring at Murong Yu with a face full of resentment. Although his strength was now 1,000,000,000 times stronger than before, and his status was higher than thousands of people, he still couldn't forget the fact that Murong Yu had killed him. However, he had never forgotten the scene when Murong Yu wanted to kill him. Although Murong Yu didn't kill him in the end, Jiao Li had already regarded him as an irreconcilable enemy. Jiao Li, I didn't expect that not only did you not die after I destroyed your cultivation, but your cultivation base has also made continuous breakthroughs, reaching the early immortal venerable realm. Not bad, Murong Yu observed Jiao Li for a while and said suddenly. In fact, Murong Yu was really shocked. He knew that he had shattered Jiao Li's dantian with a single palm strike. However, this guy could be said to have profited from a disaster. His strength and status had a huge gap compared to before. Humph! Seeing Murong Yu come out, Jiao Li's heart was filled with resentment. He almost couldn't suppress the resentment in his heart, so he ordered the people behind him to rush forward and kill Murong Yu. However, he didn't dare to do so. Yes, he was very powerful now and his status was extremely high. However, all of this was given to him by someone else. If he dared to disobey that person, he had no doubt that everything he had would be taken away in an instant, and he would become a useless piece of trash. Murong Yu, hand over Hichu Luoshu, and you and the entire heavenly court will join the divine union. Otherwise, all of you will die, Jiao Li snorted coldly and said indifferently. Divine union? Murong Yu's face was filled with astonishment. Then, he looked at Jiao Li and the others one by one and suddenly realized something. So, all of you are from the divine union. Jiao Li, it seems like you are doing well. However, wasn't the divine union formed by the resurrected God? Oh right, what is the name of your leader? The leader is called Ji, but he doesn't like people calling him by his name. You can call him Leader Ji. Jiao Li's heart was filled with killing intent. He couldn't wait to kill Murong Yu. However, he tried his best to suppress his killing intent as he spoke indifferently. After all, his purpose here was to recruit Murong Yu, so, his name is Ji? In that case, all of you are Ji's lackeys? Murong Yu's face suddenly turned cold. You are courting death. An immortal venerate stepped forward and shouted at Murong Yu. Shut up. I am talking to Jiao Li. Who do you think you are? Who are you to speak here? Murong Yu shouted fiercely. Then, he turned to look at Jiao Li and said indifferently, Jiao Li, I didn't say anything wrong, right? May I know your status in the divine union? Kid, don't be too arrogant. Leader Jiao is our deputy leader, an immortal venerate said in a low voice. However, his tone was much more polite. Deputy leader? Murong Yu had a strange look on his face as he said, How can a piece of trash like you be a deputy leader? Doesn't that mean that I can be the leader when I go to the divine union? Jiao Li's face was ashen as he glared at Murong Yu with resentment. Murong Yu, I will give you a choice now. Surrender or die. I hope you can make a choice within 10 seconds. Otherwise, I will help you make the choice. 1. Jiao Li started counting. Murong Yu, it's best if you don't surrender. If you do, I'll be able to kill every single one of you. Jiao Li's venomous voice sounded in Murong Yu's ears. I'm very curious. If I surrender, will Ji kick you out and assign me the position of Vice Alliance leader? That should be very interesting, Murong Yu said nonchalantly. Jiao Li's eyes flashed coldly. If Murong Yu really surrendered, Ji Zhen might make him the deputy leader because he had seen how Murong Yu governed the heavenly court. Ji Zhen needed this kind of talent now. However, Jiao Li would not allow this to happen. Murong Yu had to die today. Chapter 7:18. You're going to die today. Jiao Li sneered and shouted. 10 breaths of time has passed. Murong Yu, since you haven't made your choice, you can only die now. Everyone, attack. Attack with all your might. As long as we kill Murong Yu and seize the Hichu Luoshu, we'll have made a great contribution. Jiao Li roared and launched a palm attack at Murong Yu. The rest of the 50 immortal venerables also rushed to attack. They all knew what the Hichu Luoshu was. It was a treasure that even GMO wanted. Once they got the treasure, they would definitely get a lot of benefits after giving it to GMO. They might even become gods in the future. Therefore, everyone went crazy. They unleashed all their might and attacked Murong Yu fiercely. A terrifying force broke out, shattering the void in an instant. The whole world seemed to be trembling. At this moment, the faces of everyone in Feng City behind Murong Yu's back changed. Although they had absolute confidence in Murong Yu, the attackers were all immortal venerables. Moreover, there were more than 50 of them. No matter how strong Murong Yu was, he was no match for these people. Therefore, they all looked at Murong Yu with a worried expression. Some people even cried out in alarm. Activate the Great City Defense Formation. Murong Yu calmly transmitted his voice to He Hu and the others. At the same time, Murong Yu's figure flickered and disappeared. Hong long, countless terrifying energies poured down, instantly annihilating the space where Murong Yu had been standing. Large swathes of the void turned into nothingness. However, they couldn't do anything to Murong Yu. At this moment, Murong Yu had entered Feng City. Jiao Li naturally noticed the situation. Immediately, he roared with a ferocious face, "Kill! Destroy the heavenly court and kill Murong Yu. Kill! Kill! Kill!" As he spoke, Jiao Li struck out with his palm again and again. He used his strongest attack and bombarded the heavenly court's great city-guarding formation. Balls of light erupted from the bombardment of the grand formation. The other 50-plus immortal venerables from the Divine Union also made their move. Immediately, a terrifying force poured down on the formation of the heavenly court, causing it to tremble violently and emit terrifying sounds. Murong Yu's face was gloomy as he waved his hands continuously. Grade 9 immortal meridians were thrown out one by one as if they were free, becoming the source of power for the array formations. However, with the grand array being bombarded continuously, the consumption of power was extremely terrifying. In less than 15 minutes, the power of a grade 9 immortal meridian was completely depleted. One could only imagine how terrifying the consumption of energy was. However, even so, the Great City Barrier Array continued to emit cracking sound. The array formation had reached its limit. No matter how many immortal meridians Murong Yu had, he wouldn't be able to sustain it. After all, although the array formation he had set up was powerful, Murong Yu's strength wasn't strong enough. Moreover, the power of Jiao Li and the others was too terrifying. Of course, if Murong Yu's strength had reached the immortal venerate realm, the array formation he had set up wouldn't be afraid of the dozens of immortal venerables outside. However, he was only at the immortal venerate realm now. No matter how powerful the array formation was, there was still a limit. Murong Yu knew this. At the same time, Jiao Li and the others also knew this. He Hu and the others were also aware of this problem. Attack, attack! Let's see how long they can last. Jiao Li roared ferociously, commanding those people to attack the heavenly court. However, Jiao Li had already stopped attacking. However, he was still glaring at Murong Yu in Feng City with resentment. Sacred Master, the other party is too strong. I'm afraid we won't be able to hold on for long. Xiaozhua walked up and said in a deep voice. The others also walked over and looked at Murong Yu with a worried expression. This was true even for those immortal emperors. Although they were immortal emperors, the dozens of immortal venerables outside were much stronger than them. If they rushed out, they would only be courting death. After glancing at the crowd, Murong Yu said faintly, although they are strong, it's impossible for them to break through the heavenly court. This time, I'm going to make them suffer. I want everyone in the immortal world to know that our heavenly court isn't something that anyone can afford to offend. Today, I'm going to make the divine union suffer heavy losses. How dare they attack our heavenly court? They are really courting death. Murong Yu's voice was cold. By the time he finished speaking, his killing intent was already soaring. Sacred Master, you have a trump card? Xiaozhua asked excitedly. The others also looked at Murong Yu with excitement. Xiaozhua and the others felt very aggrieved when they were attacked by people who were much stronger than them. If Murong Yu could kill some of them, they would feel very satisfied and satisfied. Murong Yu nodded and looked indifferently at Jiao Li and the others outside Feng City. Those people were attacking the heavenly court crazily. Murong Yu's eyebrows flashed coldly as the killing intent in his heart intensified. If the old man was here, he would be able to kill one or two of these people. However, one shouldn't rely on others too much. Even without the old man, I can still turn the world upside down today. Murong Yu's heart was filled with rage and helplessness. Although he was strong, he only had 700,000 dragon power. He could contend against ordinary immortal venerables, but it would be difficult for him to kill them. Moreover, it wasn't just one immortal venerate attacking the heavenly court, but more than 50 of them. If Murong Yu dared to go out, these people would be able to blast him to pieces. With a thought, the golden bow of heaven and earth appeared in his hand. Suddenly, a vast and powerful but restrained aura was released. Everyone was shocked. Although they didn't feel the power of the bow of heaven and earth, they knew that this divine bow was not simple. Sacred Lord, is this a divine weapon? Xiaozhua felt that the bow of heaven and earth was much stronger than his brick emperor weapon, so he couldn't help but ask. Perhaps. Murong Yu said indifferently. What grade was the bow of heaven and earth? Murong Yu still didn't know. However, he felt that whether it was the bow of heaven and earth, the yin-yang cauldron, the Hichu Luoshu, or the heavenly punishment order, these treasures had no grade. It wasn't that they didn't have a grade, but that they were existences that had surpassed all grades. The bow of heaven and earth. Murong Yu planned to use the bow of heaven and earth. After all, the fact that he had the Hichu Luoshu had been exposed, making him an enemy of almost the entire world. Revealing the bow of heaven and earth now wouldn't make the situation worse. Most importantly, Murong Yu felt that he now had the strength to protect the bow of heaven and earth. Otherwise, once he shot out the bow of heaven and earth, it would cause a fight among the celestial primes and almost be taken away. Now, even now, he still wants to kill me. Bow of heaven and earth, heaven-shaking arrow, today I will let you drink the blood of the celestial primes. Murong Yu shouted in his heart. With a flip of his hand, the human arrow of the 3 heaven, earth, and human quaking arrows appeared in his hand. The human arrow was extremely powerful when it came to killing human lives. Even if it was now, they were still human beings. The moment the bow of heaven and earth and the heaven-shaking arrow appeared, Jiao Li, who was outside Feng City, couldn't help but shudder. Damn it! How can this be? Can Murong Yu overturn the heavens? Jiao Li shook his head, puzzled. Murong Yu took a deep breath, raised his strength to the limit, and then aimed his eyes at Jiao Li. As the saying goes, to catch bandits, first catch the ringleader. Murong Yu intended to kill Jiao Li with one blow. Murong Yu's body exuded a powerful aura. He suddenly shouted and pulled the bow to the fullest in an instant. Swish! The moment he pulled the bow, the strength in his body was instantly sucked dry. It was really too terrifying. One should know that the Tree of Life was already very powerful at this time. It could endlessly absorb the free chaotic energy from the void to replenish Murong Yu's body, making Murong Yu's strength limitless, like a torrential river that would never be exhausted. However, when Murong Yu pulled the bow, all his strength was directly swallowed by the bow of heaven and earth. If the Tree of Life hadn't started to replenish his strength, Murong Yu would have been unable to pull the bow of heaven and earth to the fullest. Moreover, Murong Yu had already started to burn his 9th grade immortal meridians. Under the two-pronged attack, Murong Yu's strength was not exhausted, nor was it interrupted. This also proved the terror of the bow of heaven and earth. The stronger one was, the more strength one needed. What's going on? Why do I feel a sense of trepidation and extreme danger? Jiao Li, who was outside Feng City, shook his head, trying to dispel the bad feeling in his heart. However, the more he shook his head, the more intense the feeling was. He even sensed the aura of death. Chi at this moment, Murong Yu let go. After a short and dazzling sound, the sky-shaking arrow disappeared in a flash of golden light in front of Murong Yu and the others. It had actually escaped into the void. This feeling. Jiao Li was very irritated. Just as he didn't know what had happened, a golden light appeared in front of him out of thin air, and the aura of death enveloped Jiao Li's body, giving him an illusion that he couldn't escape. Jiao Li's pupils shrank, and then he roared. With a punch, he knocked down the unprepared celestial venerable beside him, and blasted towards the golden light that was shooting towards him. At the same time, Jiao Li turned around and fled. Boom! The celestial venerable was sent flying by Jiao Li. Just as he was furious and didn't know what had happened, the sky-shaking arrow, which had turned into a ball of golden light, had ruthlessly pierced into his body, piercing through his heart. Rumble! In an instant, the sky above Feng Province was filled with blood clouds, and blood-red lightning raged, and blood rain poured down. This was the fall of a celestial venerable expert, and the heavens and earth mourned and wept for him. Congratulations, young master, you've obtained 100 million stars. At the same time, Steward Tian's voice rang in Murong Yu's ears. Chapter 719. The change of heaven and earth meant that an immortal venerable had fallen. Just as the entire Feng province was shrouded in bloody clouds, bloody rain and bloody lightning, both the heavenly court and the divine union were stunned. An immortal venerable had fallen just like that? Everyone was in disbelief. However, the expressions on both sides were different. Those from the heavenly court were pleasantly surprised, while those from the divine union were horrified. After killing an immortal venerable, the sky-shaking arrow turned into a ray of golden light and flew towards the heavenly court. Take it down. At this moment, those immortal venerables finally reacted. One of the powerhouses roared and reached out with his hand, grabbing at the golden light. What a terrifying divine arrow! It can even kill an immortal venerable easily. If I can get my hands on it, my strength will definitely rise to another level. An immortal venerable looked at the sky-shaking arrow and stretched out his hand to grab the arrow. In fact, it wasn't just one or two who were greedy. At the same time, other than Jiao Li, everyone else stretched out their hands to grab the sky-shaking arrow. This arrow actually killed one of our men. We must take it down and avenge our men. An immortal venerable roared and turned into a ray of light to intercept the arrow. Yes, we must take it down. Kill the person who shot the arrow, and we can avenge our men. Another immortal venerable roared. These shameless people are obviously greedy for the divine arrow. They actually said that they want to avenge their men. How shameless! Are they really immortal venerables? Shameless people. The people of the divine union are all shameless. I have finally seen it for myself. Many people in the heavenly court were mocking these shameless immortal venerables. However, those immortal venerables were indifferent. To them, these mocking words were nothing. The most important thing was their strength. As long as they were strong enough, who would dare to mock them? Unlike these people who were fighting over the sky shaking arrow, as if they had been injected with chicken blood, Jiaoli had retreated far away. He was inexplicably shocked and his face was alternating between green and red. Apparently, he had been frightened too much. Bastard, what kind of arrow is this? It can even kill an immortal venerable? Jiao Li's heart was filled with fear and trepidation. If it wasn't for his quick reaction, and if it wasn't for the fact that he had an immortal venerable by his side, he would have been the one to die. Could this be Murong Yu's trump card? Apart from Hichu Luoshu, is there really such a terrifying divine arrow? Jiao Li's eyes flashed with a cold light, but he unconsciously took a few steps back. He also coveted that divine arrow. However, he didn't dare to think about those divine arrows. He was scared out of his wits. Hearing Steward Tian's words, Murong Yu couldn't help but tremble. Then, his face revealed a shocked expression. Steward Tian, you're saying that I obtained 100 million stars by killing an immortal venerable? Yes, young master. By killing an immortal reverent, you can obtain 100 million star points. The Tian-Guan Alliance said. Very good. Star points are good stuff. There are more than 50 people outside. If I kill all of them, I can easily obtain billions of star points. Murong Yu's eyes lit up as he looked at those immortal venerables who were trying to snatch the heaven-shaking arrow. In his eyes, these immortal venerables were no longer immortal venerables, but stars. These reckless things. Today, I'll turn all of you into my stars. Murong Yu sneered. Then, he stretched out his hand and grabbed at the void. Arrow, come! Swoosh! At this moment, the heaven-shaking arrow that everyone was fighting over suddenly trembled. Its speed instantly increased by countless times, avoiding the interception of everyone's power and entering the void once again. In the next moment, the heaven-shaking arrow appeared in Murong Yu's hand. Bow and arrow. Done in one go. With a chi sound, Zhen Jianjian turned into a golden light and shot out into the void. When the heaven-shaking arrow was shot out, Murong Yu's hand made a grabbing motion in the air. In the next moment, another heaven-shaking arrow appeared. Chi. Two beams of golden light shot into the void, locking onto the few immortal venerables in front of them and shooting towards them. Now, Murong Yu had already regarded these people as stars. Therefore, he gave up on capturing the leader first to capture the bandit. After all, he would get 100 million star points no matter who he killed. Furthermore, given Jiao Li's level of cunning and his status in the Divine Union, Murong Yu could not guarantee that he did not have any trump cards on him. Seeing that more than 50 immortal venerables were unable to stop the heaven-shaking arrow and had been taken back by Murong Yu, many of them were disappointed. These people were a little disappointed, but more than that, they were greedy. The more powerful the heaven-shaking arrow was, the better. Kill. Break into the heavenly court, kill Murong Yu and seize the divine bow and divine arrow. When those immortal venerables saw that the heaven-shaking arrow had been taken away by Murong Yu, all of them roared and unleashed a powerful force towards the heavenly court. However, right at that moment, they saw Murong Yu knocking an arrow on his bow and releasing it. Be careful! Everyone roared and instantly increased their strength to the maximum. However, even though they had increased their strength to the maximum, they obviously did not take the heaven-shaking arrow seriously. They felt that no matter how powerful the heaven-shaking arrow was, could it really kill them at their peak? The reason why an immortal venerables had been killed just now was because he had been caught off guard. They did not think that the heaven-shaking arrow could kill them. Therefore, when Murong Yu had shot the arrow, they had even stopped attacking and waited for the heaven-shaking arrow to shoot over. A bunch of idiots. Murong Yu and Jiao Li could not help but snort when they saw the immortal venerable's actions. Murong Yu and Jiao Li, one was the owner of the heaven-shaking arrow, while the other had felt the terrifying power of the heaven-shaking arrow. Naturally, they knew how terrifying the heaven-shaking arrow was. Chi. A golden light appeared out of thin air not far from an immortal venerate. "It's coming!" The immortal venerate roared and stretched out his big hand to grab the heaven-shaking arrow. At the same time, the other immortal venerables had also reacted and stretched out their big hands to grab the heaven-shaking arrow. However, their attacks were too slow. When they stretched out their big hands, the first immortal venerate had already grabbed the heaven-shaking arrow. "It's over. The divine arrow has been taken by him." The other immortal venerables were shocked. The immortal venerate who had grabbed the heaven-shaking arrow laughed out loud. This was because he realized that the heaven-shaking arrow did not seem to have any power at all and was easily caught by him. Bang! However, before the immortal venerate could laugh for long, the heaven-shaking arrow in his hand shook violently. It had actually shattered his large hand. Almost at the same time, the heaven-shaking arrow had already turned into a golden light and pierced through his body. Boom! After an earth-shattering explosion, the immortal venerate's entire body suddenly exploded, turning into a bloody mist that drifted between heaven and earth. Rumble! The moment the immortal venerate exploded, the blood clouds, blood rain, and blood lightning that had dissipated earlier appeared out of thin air again, enveloping the entire Feng province. The second immortal venerate had fallen. Seeing this scene, the hearts of the remaining experts trembled. For the first time, they realized the terror of the heaven-shaking arrow. At this moment, after 2 screams, another 2 immortal venerates were blasted into a bloody mist and dissipated between heaven and earth. Rumble! The blood clouds in the sky became denser. After the 3 immortal venerates had fallen, the blood clouds had turned into a deep red color. "Arrows come!" Murong Yu's hand made a grabbing motion in the air. Suddenly, 3 heaven-shaking arrows appeared in his hand again. Then, Murong Yu drew his bow again and shot out the 3 heaven-shaking arrows almost at the same time. Bang! 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 Another 3 immortal venerates were shot to death. The bloody mist in the sky had turned into a deep red color, gradually turning into a dark red color. At this point, 3 immortal venerates had been shot to death. What a terrifying divine arrow! We are no match for it. Jiao Li, who had already retreated, said with a frightened look. "Retreat, retreat quickly!" Jiao Li roared and turned to flee in panic. He was really scared. "Go!" The rest of the immortal venerates were also scared out of their wit. They roared and turned to flee. However, Murong Yu continued to shoot arrows and killed another 3 immortal venerate. However, after he killed the 3 immortal venerables, the rest of them had already fled without a trace. However, Murong Yu had also killed 9 immortal venerate. 9 immortal venerate. Everyone in Feng City was stunned by the news. What was the concept of 9 immortal venerates? In the current immortal world, there were only a few immortal venerates among the countless immortals. However, Murong Yu had killed 9 of them. Immortal venerates were the supreme immortals. However, they seemed to have been killed by Murong Yu's arrows. Was Murong Yu too strong, or were those immortal venerates too weak? Murong Yu was very strong, but those immortal venerates were even stronger. The Holy Lord is mighty. The Holy Lord is unrivaled in the world. A heavenly court disciple suddenly roared after being shocked for a long time. The Holy Lord is mighty. The Holy Lord is unrivaled in the world. For a moment, the crowd seemed to have been ignited as they roared one by one. At this point, Murong Yu had reached an unprecedented height in their hearts. Even those so-called gods were not as tall as Murong Yu. In their hearts, Murong Yu had long surpassed those so-called gods. Sacred Master, are we going to chase after them and wipe out Jiao Li, Ji, and the Divine Union? a heavenly court disciple asked excitedly as he rushed over. Scram! Hey-Hu roared and kicked the man away. You brat, go chase after them yourself. Well, Sir Black Tiger, pretend I didn't say anything. Just pretend that I never appeared. The disciple chuckled. With a flash of his body, he disappeared on the spot. Hey-Hu, you'll take care of the aftermath. As for the families of those killed, compensate them according to the rules. Murong Yu instructed, then disappeared in a flash. Chapter 720. Pft! Murong Yu couldn't help but spit out a mouthful of blood the moment he appeared in the heavenly court's main hall. He was injured. I didn't expect the bow of cosmos and sky-shaking arrow to be so powerful that they could even kill immortal venerables. However, even I couldn't control them and ended up injured. Moreover, it's a mental injury. The bow of cosmos and sky-shaking arrow were definitely powerful and terrifying. They could even kill early immortal venerables. However, Murong Yu was injured after killing 9 immortal venerables in a row. Controlling the bow of cosmos not only required strength, but also a strong mental state. Murong Yu relied on the Tree of Life and the endless immortal meridians to support the bow of cosmos. However, controlling the bow of cosmos also required a strong mental state. The reason why Murong Yu spat out blood was because his mental state was injured. At most, I can only kill 1 more immortal venerable. If I kill more, my mental state will suffer irreparable damage. It will cause great harm to myself and even affect my future cultivation. Murong Yu muttered in his heart. If Jiaoli and the rest hadn't retreated, Murong Yu would only kill 1 more person. He wouldn't be able to kill more people. Even if he could kill more people, it would be an act of self-destruction. Murong Yu had a sense of propriety. He wouldn't act like that until the very last moment. With a sway of his body, Murong Yu disappeared from where he was and reappeared in the Hichu Luoshu world. Then, he ignited his immortal meridians to accelerate time and began to heal. In less than an hour, Murong Yu appeared in the heavenly court's main hall again. At this moment, his injuries were all healed. Even his mental state was stronger than before. This was the benefit of accelerating time. The same injury would take 10,000 years to heal. Murong Yu could heal it in less than an hour, but the others would need 10,000 years. The difference of 10,000 years was extremely advantageous to him. Although I killed 9 immortal venerables and shocked many people, it's still not enough. However, this is only temporary. It was possible that the powerhouses of the Divine Union, or even Ji-Du, would come to kill them soon. I can only kill 9 immortal venerables, and they were only early immortal venerables. No matter how strong they are, I'm afraid I won't be able to kill them. By then, the heavenly court might be destroyed. Murong Yu's face darkened as he pondered. The situation was getting more and more grim. Ji must have subdued a lot of immortal venerables. After all, there weren't many immortal venerables in the immortals world. Of course, the immortal venerables. Of immortal of course, Murong immortal venerables. Murong Yu of heavenly immortals of the divine venerables world of the of immortal of us. Moreover, he had exposed the Qianquan bow and the heaven-shaking arrow this time. Presumably, many people in the immortal world would be restless. Even Ji might come personally. It's of immortals of this of s. Strength was still a matter of strength. If Murong Yu was stronger, if there were more immortal venerables in the heavenly court, Murong Yu wouldn't be so helpless. With a thought, Murong Yu transmitted his voice to He-Hu, Xiahou, and the others. Sacred Master. Everyone bowed respectfully to Murong Yu after entering the hall. Even those immortal emperors had to be respectful to him. They knew that with Murong Yu's strength that could kill immortal sovereigns, he could easily kill them. What does everyone think about the future of the heavenly court? Murong Yu nodded and asked. Sacred Master, the people of the Divine Union are too strong. I'm not trying to boost their morale or diminish our prestige. Although the Union leader can easily kill immortal venerables, you're not invincible. Eventually, you'll run out of strength. In the entire heavenly court, the only one who can be considered a powerhouse is you, Sacred Master. Compared to the countless powerhouses of the Divine Union and the Immortal Realm Alliance, our heavenly court is nothing. We're simply no match for them. Everyone was silent at first. Then, Xiaozhua stepped forward and said. Everyone nodded. Xiaozhua was right. The heavenly court's current strength was simply no match for the Divine Union and the Immortal Realm Alliance. And now, those two forces definitely wouldn't let Murong Yu off the hook. Xiaozhua, what do you think we should do? Murong Yu looked at Xiaozhua and asked. Sacred Master, we're in an extremely dangerous situation now. We shouldn't go against the Divine Union or the Immortal Realm Alliance directly. My suggestion is that we leave the Feng province and avoid direct contact with those two forces. Xiaozhua, are you crazy? We have so many people in the heavenly court. How can we leave just like that? Are we giving up on those people? If we're leaving, we'll leave together. We won't give up on anyone. If we give up on even one person at this time, it will be extremely disadvantageous for us. Therefore, my suggestion is that the entire heavenly court leave this place. There are so many people. It's impossible for all of them to leave. Furthermore, the people of the Divine Union and the Immortal Realm Alliance will definitely not let us leave. Everyone else frowned slightly. Don't forget that the Sacred Master still has a spatial treasure. It's a powerful treasure that can carry living people. Xiaozhua suddenly said loudly. Everyone's eyes lit up as they looked at Murong Yu. No, although the Hichu Luoshu is an extremely powerful treasure, there are so many people in the heavenly court. The daily consumption is so terrifying. Can the Hichu Luoshu store all of us? Black Tiger suddenly thought of a very practical problem. Xiaozhua was stunned. He had never considered this problem. Therefore, he couldn't help but look at Murong Yu and say awkwardly, Sacred Master, how many people can your treasure store? If it can't store too many, then pretend I didn't say anything. While Xiaozhua and the others were talking, Murong Yu's mind was filled with a myriad of thoughts. Moving the entire heavenly court would definitely not be a problem. However, he couldn't possibly put all of Shenzhen's people in the Hichu Luoshu, right? That would be unrealistic. After all, although the Hichu Luoshu was like a real world, it wasn't a real world. After all, it wasn't a real world. The Hichu Luoshu was simply too safe. A place that was too safe wouldn't allow people to go out and train, explore, and take risks. It wouldn't be beneficial to the growth of the heavenly court. Furthermore, Murong Yu couldn't possibly move these people into the heavenly punishment order. That wasn't a problem either. Finally, Murong Yu thought of the southern mountains. He decided to move the heavenly court to the southern mountains. When the time came, Murong Yu would have to consider in detail whether to merge with the primal chaos Shenzhen and the celestial palace. Xiaozhua, your suggestion isn't bad. As for how many people can my treasure hold? At the very least, it won't be a problem to hold the entire heavenly court. Go and prepare immediately. If anyone is willing, I'll take them with me. If not, there's no need to force them. Just let them leave. By the way, the same goes for those in Feng City who aren't disciples of the heavenly court. Yes. Xiaozhua and the others hurriedly retreated and went to prepare. Before long, Xiaozhua's voice resounded throughout Feng City. Everyone, the Divine Lord displayed his might just now and killed 9 immortal supremacies from the Divine Union. This was originally a good thing and worthy of a celebration. However, everyone knows what kind of thing the Divine Union is. Although the Divine Lord's strength is unparalleled, he's still just one person. As the saying goes, one fist is no match for 2 hands. We're just useless. Given the Divine Lord's strength, no one in the immortal world can do anything to him. He could have left the heavenly court alone and completely ignored us. However, the Divine Lord is kind-hearted and treats all of us like family. He's not willing to give up on any of us. Therefore, the Divine Lord has decided to leave Feng City. At the same time, he'll take us with him. Now, I'm telling you, please get ready. If you're willing to follow the Divine Lord and leave with us, the Divine Lord will take us with him. If you're not willing to leave, please get ready and leave Feng City by yourself. Now, I'll give you half a day to pack your things. After that, gather at Feng City's plaza. Buzz, when Xiaohua's voice resounded throughout Feng City, the entire city instantly boiled over. The Divine Lord wants to leave Feng City? Is he going to give up on Feng City? However, it doesn't matter. Since the Divine Lord hasn't given up on us, I'll definitely follow him. I've decided to leave with the Divine Lord. The Divine Lord is kind-hearted and hasn't given up on us at this point. We won't give up on the Divine Lord either. We've been disciples of the Heavenly Court all our lives, and we'll always be disciples of the Heavenly Court. As long as the Divine Lord hasn't given up on us, we'll definitely follow him. What bullshit is the Divine Union and the Immortal Realm Alliance? Once we're strong enough, we'll wipe them out and leave no one alive. We'll leave with the Divine Lord for the time being. Once the Heavenly Court is strong enough, we'll destroy the Divine Union and the Immortal Realm Alliance. Then, we'll unify the Immortal Realm. All kinds of discussions rang out in Feng City. Some were excited, some were sad, and some were at a loss. Half a day later, Feng City's plaza, countless people gathered in the plaza. Looking from afar, it was densely packed with people. However, the square of Feng City was too big. Even if all the people of Feng City gathered together, they could only occupy a corner of the square. With a flash, Murong Yu appeared on a high platform in front of the plaza. Looking at the crowd, Murong Yu went straight to the point and said, "I believe everyone is ready in half a day. Now, those who are willing to leave with me, stand on the right side of the plaza. Those who don't, stand on the left." Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. As soon as Murong Yu's voice fell, the people in the plaza began to move. Xiaohua, Heihu, and even Murong Yu were shocked when they saw the people moving. Chapter 721. At his command, the people in the square surged and moved to the right side of the square. Before long, everyone had occupied the right side of the square. No one was standing on the left side of the square. In other words, everyone in Feng City, regardless of whether they were from the Heavenly Court or not, was willing to leave Feng City with Murong Yu. Regardless of whether they were sincere or not, they were still willing to leave with Murong Yu. Moreover, Murong Yu also believed that most of these people were sincere in leaving with him. I am very happy that everyone is willing to leave Feng City with me. Here, I, Murong Yu, the Master of the Heavenly Court, promise everyone that this is the first and last time I will be forced to leave. Soon, the strength of the Heavenly Court will grow. At that time, neither the Immortal Realm Alliance nor the Divine Union will be our match. We will even destroy them one by one and unify the Immortal Realm. As for you, no matter what your cultivation is or what your talent is, I will make you the strongest in the Immortal Realm. Immortal monarchs and immortal emperors will not be a problem. Upon hearing Murong Yu's words, the crowd in the plaza immediately went into an uproar, each and every one of them excited. They did not doubt Murong Yu's words. If Murong Yu said that he could make all of them reach the Immortal Emperor realm, they would not doubt it either. This was because they all believed that Murong Yu could do it. Even Heihu and the others looked at Murong Yu in shock. They were inexplicably excited. Could it be that the Sacred Master has obtained a divine pill like the Monarch Breakthrough Pill? It can make a person reach the Immortal Emperor realm? If that's the case, if all the disciples of the Heavenly Court reach the Immortal Emperor realm, so what if the Divine Union and the Immortal Realm Alliance are allied? We will wipe them out directly. They have a lot of immortal venerables. Maybe thousands or tens of thousands. However, if our heavenly court's immortal emperors swarm them, even if they have a few times more immortal venerables, they will not be able to withstand a single blow. Thinking of this scene, Black Tiger and the others trembled all over. This was because they were too excited. Murong Yu gestured with his hands. Immediately, the noise in the square quickly dissipated. At the same time, Murong Yu said, "Okay, I will immediately put you into my treasure space. When the suction force acts on you, I hope you will not resist. Otherwise, I won't be able to put you into the treasure space." As he spoke, Murong Yu pointed his finger. Immediately, Hichu Luoshu turned into a ray of light and shot into the sky. Then, it quickly enlarged and covered the entire square. A terrifying suction force broke out. Suddenly, the people on the square were sucked into Hichu's book world. During this process, no one resisted. Therefore, in less than a few breaths of time, the square was already empty. They were all taken into the Hichu Luoshu world. "You guys go in as well." Murong Yu glanced at Xiaohua and the others. With a wave of his hand, he sent them into the Hichu Luoshu world. After putting everyone into the Hichu Luoshu, Murong Yu waved his hand and put the Hichu Luoshu into his body. At the same time, his figure flashed and he soared into the sky, ready to leave Feng City. However, just as he was about to leave, his heart skipped a beat, and he immediately stopped flying. Although Feng City is not a big city, it has been run for a long time. It is the home of many people. Moreover, the heavenly court will not be incorporated into Shenzhen for the time being. When the time comes, I will have to rebuild my sect in Nanling. It would be better to take the whole Feng City. Murong Yu thought for a while. Once again, he released the Hichu Luoshu and covered the whole Feng City. Hichu Luoshu, devour! Murong Yu roared and began to devour Feng City. Though he wasn't as strong as Ji, he had the He too, the inscription of the Luo, and endless immortal veins. Moreover, Feng City was now just an empty city. There was no resistance at all. Under Murong Yu's devouring, the whole Feng City began to slowly rise from the ground. This is the Hichu Luoshu world? There are mountains, rivers, and even the sky. It is exactly the same as the immortal world outside. Moreover, the heaven and earth spiritual chi here is much richer than outside. Yes, if the Sacred Lord did not say that he would take us into the Hichu Luoshu world, I would not believe that we are in a treasure space. This treasure is really too miraculous. Unfortunately, although we are in, we can't take Feng City away. After all, Feng City is our home. We have spent so much effort on it. It is a bit sad to just give it up like this. Why don't we go and ask the Sacred Lord to see if he can take Feng City in as well? Hey, what is that? Suddenly, someone pointed to the sky and exclaimed. Everyone hurriedly raised their heads to look, only to see a huge crack suddenly appear in the sky. At the same time, a huge shadow appeared in the sky and pressed down. That is Feng City. Someone exclaimed. Haha, the Sacred Lord really moved Feng City in. Haha. Everyone burst into laughter. One by one, they quickly flew away, leaving a large open space for Feng City to land. Rumble, after an earth-shattering sound, Feng City fell directly on the ground of the Hichu Luoshu world. The Sacred Lord is mighty, the Sacred Lord's divine power is unparalleled, invincible in the world. Everyone laughed and flew into Feng City. Murong Yu did not appear in front of everyone. Instead, he went to find Hichu alone. Young Master, the Breakthrough Emperor pill has not been analyzed yet. It will still take some time. As if he knew what Murong Yu wanted to ask, Hichu spoke first before Murong Yu could speak. Murong Yu nodded, and his figure flashed and disappeared. When he reappeared, he was already in the southern mountains, Shenzhen. However, Murong Yu did not stay in Shenzhen. He stepped out and came to the deepest part of the southern mountains. Senior, I have moved another force, the Heavenly Court, to the southern mountains. I hope Senior will not take offense. Although Murong Yu had reached an agreement with the powerful existence in the southern mountains, he still had to greet that existence before moving the heavenly court. Otherwise, if that powerful existence was not willing, he could destroy the heavenly court with a single palm. Murong Yu knew how terrifying the other party was. Murong Yu waited for a long time, but there was still no response. "Senior, I will take it as a yes." Murong Yu smiled slightly, and his figure flashed and disappeared. "Shenzhen, Celestial Palace, and the Heavenly Court are all my forces. Should I merge them all into one Shenzhen?" Murong Yu pondered in his heart. Shenzhen and Celestial Palace were absolutely loyal to him. Everyone was like this because they all ascended from the lower realms. As for the Heavenly Court, although everyone followed him out of the Feng Prefecture, not everyone was absolutely loyal to him. I will not merge them for the time being. From now on, the Heavenly Court will no longer recruit people. From now on, the Primal Chaos Shenzhen, Celestial Palace, and the Heavenly Court will be the core of my forces. Even if I continue to recruit people in the future, they can only be peripheral forces. Murong Yu muttered and came to the other side of the Nanling Mountains. Rumble, a big city, appeared out of thin air and stood in the Nanling Mountains. Not long after, the people of the Heavenly Court also appeared in Feng City. This is the depths of the Nanling Mountains. I believe everyone knows what kind of place the Nanling Mountains is, so I will not say much. During this time, I hope everyone can cultivate in the city and do not leave if there is nothing important. At the same time, the Primal Chaos Shenzhen and Celestial Palace are also in the Nanling Mountains. They are one of my forces. If you see people from those two forces in the Nanling Mountains, I hope everyone can get along well. This is the Nanling Mountains. The Saint Lord can arrange for us to stay in the depths of the Nanling Mountains without attracting the existence in the depths of the Nanling Mountains to kill us. The Saint Lord is too powerful. When everyone heard that they were in the depths of the Nanling Mountains, they were shocked at first. Then, they all praised Murong Yu and admired Murong Yu even more. Did you hear that? In addition to our Heavenly Court, there is also the Shenzhen and Celestial Palace. These are the forces of the Saint Lord. When the three of us unite, our strength will be even more powerful. The Divine Union and the Immortal World Alliance will not be our opponents. Yes, I was a little lacking in confidence before, but now I am full of confidence. We will definitely be able to destroy the Divine Union and the Immortal World Alliance. After explaining the general situation to Xiaohua, Black Tiger and the others, Murong Yu left the Heavenly Court and handed over the construction of the Heavenly Court to Black Tiger and the others. This was called the capable person doing more work. Now, the Emperor Breakthrough Pill had not been analyzed and mass-produced. Although they had moved into the Nanling Mountains, their forces would be exposed sooner or later. Once exposed, the Nanling Mountains would not be a safe place for them. Therefore, Murong Yu wanted to increase his strength as much as possible before they were exposed. At the very least, he wanted to increase his strength to the Immortal Emperor realm, preferably the Immortal Supremacy realm. The best way to increase his strength was to become the enforcer of more cultivation world. After all, if Murong Yu wanted to break through now, he could only comprehend the chaotic celestial records, which was very difficult to break through. However, Murong Yu had a feeling that as long as he controlled another cultivation world, he would be able to break through and reach the intermediate Immortal Lord realm. At that time, his strength would break through the limit and reach 1 million Earth Dragon powers, or even more. Now that the Heavenly Punisher Palace was one of the major forces of the Immortal World Alliance, those enforcers were probably in the Immortal World Alliance. Murong Yu was now planning to sneak into the Immortal World Alliance and gain some benefit. Of course, if Murong Yu wanted to increase his strength, he could also use star points to exchange. If he wanted to obtain a large number of star points, sneaking into the Immortal World Alliance was also a good idea. When the Immortal World Alliance and the Divine Union went to war, that would be the best way to earn star points. Moreover, if he accidentally killed Ji, the benefits Murong Yu would definitely be terrifying. Chapter 722. Kaijian, one of the 10 great states of the Immortal World, was the headquarters of the Immortal World Alliance. Most of the experts in the Immortal World had gathered in Kaijian. There was no lack of immortal supremacy experts among them. When Murong Yu arrived at Kaijian, he discovered how prosperous and huge Kaijian City was. Originally, Kaijian City and Lingnan City were about the same. However, Kaijian City was thousands of times bigger than Lingnan City. It could even be said to be the biggest city in the Immortal World. Of course, if the Divine Union in the north of the Immortal World did not have a similar city, Kaijian City would definitely be the biggest city in the Immortal World. Looking from afar, the entire huge Kaijian City was filled with black chi. This was because a large number of star-level villains were gathered in the city. Apart from the black chi, Murong Yu could feel the terrifying aura emanating from Kaijian City even before he got close to it. From afar, Kaijian City looked like a prehistoric ferocious beast that was about to devour people. This was because of the large number of experts' auras. Murong Yu entered Kaijian City without any obstruction. The Immortal World Alliance was currently recruiting experts from all over the Immortal World. As long as they were immortals, they would not reject them. Regardless of whether they were Sky Immortals or Immortal Supremacies, the Immortal World Alliance welcomed them. Therefore, there were no obstructions when entering Kaijian City. Of course, although Sky Immortals and Immortal Supremacies had joined the Immortal World Alliance, their status and identity were worlds apart. Low-level immortals like Sky Immortals would only be considered cannon fodder if they joined the Immortal World Alliance. If Immortal Supremacies joined the Immortal World Alliance, they would at least be able to become elders or protectors. They would be in a superior position. Given Murong Yu's strength as an early-stage Immortal Lord, after entering Kaijian City, Murong Yu discovered that Immortal Emperors were everywhere and Immortal Lords were as common as dogs. There were many Immortal Lords in the Immortal World Alliance. Although they were not considered cannon fodder, they were still ordinary disciples. Okay, I'll join the Heavenly Punisher Palace first. Murong Yu walked straight to the Heavenly Punisher Palace after entering Kaijian City. In the Immortal World Alliance, the Immortal Palace, Demon Sect, Sacred Sect, and the Heavenly Punisher Palace were the 4 major powers. Generally, people or powers that came to the Immortal World Alliance could only join these 4 powers. In other words, the Immortal Realm Alliance was now controlled by 4 major forces. As for the Alliance Master and the like, no one had been decided yet. It wasn't that they didn't want the position of Alliance Leader to be empty. In fact, it was because none of them were willing to submit to the other, so they couldn't produce an Alliance Leader. Although the Immortal Realm Alliance is powerful, it's still in a state of disunity. If I'm strong enough, I'll still be able to destroy the Immortal Realm Alliance. Murong Yu shook his head as he walked towards the Heavenly Punishing Palace and looked at the construction of the city. Brother, I see that you've just arrived at Kaijian City, right? Preparing to join the Immortal Realm Alliance? Our Azure Sky Sect is now looking for a large number of people. With your strength, once you join our Azure Sky Sect, you will definitely get a lot of resources. Murong Yu was walking on the road when he was suddenly pulled by a group of people. Then, they actually wanted to pull him to join their so-called Blue Sky Sect. Murong Yu couldn't help but laugh, but he only shook his head and said, "Sorry, I am a disciple of the Heavenly Retribution Palace. I've never heard of your Blue Sky Sect." Murong Yu directly refused. There were many forces like the Blue Sky Sect in the Immortal Realm Alliance. However, how could they compare to the Heavenly Retribution Palace and the other 4 forces? Whether it was in terms of resources or other aspects, they were at a disadvantage. It could even be said that these large and small forces were just cannon fodder forces. After rejecting the various forces along the way, Murong Yu arrived in front of the Heavenly Retribution Palace. "Stop, this is the Heavenly Retribution Palace. If you want to join the Heavenly Retribution Palace, go to the other side to register. Murong Yu had just arrived at the gate of the Heavenly Retribution Palace and had yet to enter when he was stopped by a few disciples of the Heavenly Retribution Palace. Looking at these arrogant disciples of the Heavenly Retribution Palace, who were only at the Immortal King stage, Murong Yu's face couldn't help but turn gloomy. What? Don't tell me you're not convinced? Do you believe that I will arrest you as a spy of the Divine Union? A late-stage Immortal King youth who looked like a captain sneered at Murong Yu. These guys, especially the disciples of the four great forces, thought that they were superior just because they were disciples of the four great forces. They simply looked down on others, just like these few good-for-nothings. If they had met Murong Yu, an immortal lord, in the past, how would they have dared to be so rude? They would have acted like a lackey. However, now they even looked down on the immortal lord. It was a classic case of a fox assuming the majesty of a tiger. Are your dog eyes blind? How dare you stop me? How dare you accuse me of being a spy from the Divine Union? Murong Yu shouted as he took a step forward and sent out a slap. Slap, slap, slap. After a few crisp sounds, these few Immortal King watchdogs were sent flying by Murong Yu's slap. Half of their faces were smashed and teeth mixed with blood spurted out. Finally, they fell heavily on the ground in the distance. Murder! A spy of the Divine Union has snuck in and killed people. These few Immortal Kings were stunned by Murong Yu's slap. After a long time, they stood up and howled like pigs being slaughtered. Whoosh! 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 Hearing these miserable cries, the surrounding people, including many people from the Heavenly Penalty Palace, rushed out. There were even immortal emperors who surrounded Murong Yu one by one. Are you the spy of the Divine Union? How dare you come to Kaijian City and kill people? You're really audacious. I'll take you down now. An immortal emperor walked out and rushed towards Murong Yu. Halfway through, he threw out a punch at Murong Yu. This guy didn't just want to take Murong Yu down. He wanted to kill Murong Yu directly. You're courting death. Murong Yu's eyes flashed with a cold light. He took a step forward and slapped the immortal emperor. With a crisp slap, the immortal emperor was slapped by Murong Yu. Like the few immortal kings, he was sent flying. You pieces of trash have blind dog eyes. How dare you treat me as a spy of the Divine Union? Murong Yu shouted coldly. With a flip of his hand, a token appeared in his palm. It was the token of a disciple of the Heavenly Penalty Palace. Of course, this token wasn't his. If he took out his original token, he would undoubtedly be courting death. The token in his hand belonged to Mo Fo. In fact, Murong Yu was no longer himself. He had changed into Mo Fo's appearance. A disciple of the Heavenly Penalty Palace and an immortal lord at that. Seeing the token in Murong Yu's hand, the people surrounding Murong Yu couldn't help but retreat. This was especially so for the people from the Heavenly Punisher Palace. Their faces were filled with shock. In the Immortal Realm Alliance, the people from the Heavenly Punisher Palace naturally had a sense of superiority. They felt that they were above everyone else. However, in the Heavenly Punisher Palace, the people with the highest status weren't them. Instead, it was the disciples of the Heavenly Punisher Palace. These people surrounding Murong Yu belonged to the Heavenly Punisher Palace. However, they weren't disciples of the Heavenly Punisher Palace. In front of the disciples of the Heavenly Punisher Palace, they were nothing. Therefore, when they saw the token in Murong Yu's hand, they retreated in fear. So it's senior brother. You pieces of trash are really blind. You can't even recognize your senior brother. At this moment, an intermediate immortal emperor walked out of the Heavenly Punisher Palace. He first bowed respectfully to Murong Yu. Then, he loudly berated the people surrounding Murong Yu. Senior brother, you just came from the sect, right? You want to join the Immortal Realm Alliance? I'll bring senior brother to register. The young immortal emperor said respectfully. Then, he brought Murong Yu into the Heavenly Punisher Palace. "You pieces of trash, why haven't you dispersed yet?" She had a respectful appearance toward Murong-yu. However, when it came to the others, she directly berated them without giving them any face. This guy was really too arrogant. Murong-yu's expression was indifferent as he followed the young immortal emperor to register his identity. During this process, Murong-yu didn't encounter any difficulties. On the contrary, there were many people who wanted to curry favor with him. However, Murong-yu couldn't be bothered to care about them. "Senior brother, this is your manor. It belongs to you from now on." After settling all the formalities, the young immortal emperor brought Murong-yu to a manor. The manor wasn't big. However, it was about 1 li in radius. It was much better compared to the countless people crowded in one room. Of course, this was the treatment for the disciples of the Heavenly Punisher Palace. If one was an immortal king, even the disciples of the Heavenly Punisher Palace would only have a small room. Of course, if Murong-yu's strength reached the immortal emperor realm, it wouldn't be as simple as a manor. "Senior brother, I'm Su Qingjie. If you need anything in the future, feel free to look for me." Before leaving, Su Qingjie reported his name in an attempt to curry favor with Murong-yu. Murong-yu nodded and casually tossed him a grade 7 immortal meridian. Then, he said indifferently, "This is your reward. I'll still need your help in the future." Su Qingjie was overjoyed. He hurriedly left in high spirit. This was a grade 7 immortal meridian. Even he hadn't seen one before, let alone possessed one. Now, I've finally sneaked into the Immortal World Alliance. Next, I'll have to raise my status in the Alliance. I'll have to find out about the other enforcers and even kill people from the Divine Union. Yes, I'll have to plan this well. I'll have to raise my strength as much as possible in the shortest time possible. If I want to raise my status, it's not enough to rely on the position of a disciple of the Heavenly Punisher Palace. Unless I can break through to the Immortal Emperor realm or the Immortal Venerate realm. However, if I can break through to that realm, I won't need to sneak in. I can only go and kill people from the Divine Union. I heard that the two alliances are at war recently. Immediately, Murong-yu officially became a part of the Immortal World Alliance and began to carry out his plan. Chapter 723. Murong-yu stood in the central square of Kaijian City. The square was huge, and there were countless immortals from the Immortal Realm Alliance with him. However, the strongest person in the square was only an immortal emperor. The vast square was packed with immortals of all kinds of strength. The strong ones were immortal emperors and the weak ones were sky immortals. At a glance, there were at least a few trillion immortals in the square. In other words, there were a few trillion immortals. With so many people gathered in one place, even though they had all concealed their auras, the invisible aura that leaked out was still very terrifying. Even the surrounding void began to tremble. It has been 3 months since I infiltrated the Immortal Realm Alliance. Finally, there is an event. Murong-yu, who was in the crowd, sized up the people around him and thought to himself. The event that Murong-yu was talking about was not an internal event of the Immortal Realm Alliance. It was an event targeted at the Divine Union. Why was there such an event? Murong-yu, who had infiltrated the Immortal Realm for 3 months, did not hear any news about the other enforcers. However, he had a clear understanding of the current situation in the Immortal Realm. The Immortal Realm had been divided into 2. The Immortal Realm Alliance occupied half of the Immortal Realm. In the north of the Immortal Realm, all the forces had joined the Divine Union. In other words, the Divine Union now controlled the north of the Immortal Realm. The Divine Union's appetite was definitely not limited to this. They were still expanding at a crazy pace. Ji Shirshir's ambition was very strong. He wanted to unify the Immortal Realm. Murong-yu found it hard to understand. Logically speaking, Ji Shirshir was a god, an existence that surpassed the Immortal Realm. Furthermore, Murong-yu guessed that Ji Shirshir's level should not be low. In other words, he was a god and a very powerful one at that. Such an existence should not have cared about immortals like Morong Yu or even the entire immortal realm. After all, the immortal realm was his stage. However, this guy seemed to have recovered from his injuries, but he did not leave the immortal realm and ascend. Did he want to unify the immortal realm? Could it be that he has the same plan as me? Morong Yu had thought about this question more than once. He was now in control of several cultivation worlds, and there were countless cultivators in each of them. If he gathered these people together, his power would soar in a short time. In fact, Morong Yu hadn't even gathered the people of Huaxia's self-cultivation world. However, if Morong Yu wanted to unite, it would be a relatively easy matter. However, there was no need to gather those people for the time being. Ji might have the same idea. If he really controlled the Yan Huang immortal realm, how many human resources would he have? The Yan Huang immortal realm had 36 cultivation realms within it. How many cultivators and immortals were there? Just like the sand in the Ganges, countless. This way, as long as Ji Fei ascended to the God realm, he would be able to bring all these people to the God realm. With a little bit of nurturing, Ji's forces would immediately swell up and become very terrifying. No wonder the epic era isn't devouring cities now, but wants to unify the immortal world. Most likely, he already had this idea. However, it's impossible for him to unify the immortal world, because the immortal world is mine. While Morong Yu was deep in thought, an immortal supremacy at the front of the square was done with his nonsense. Morong Yu was completely uninterested in what this immortal supremacy had to say. After all, it was just a bunch of nonsense. Not long after, a huge gate was set up in the square. The so-called gate was actually the same as a teleportation gate. However, the gate could teleport more people each time, and it could be opened at any time. Of course, not everyone had the ability to open the gate. Even if they had the method to open it, they had to have great strength and resources. If not for the fact that the Immortal Realm Alliance and the Divine Union were about to go to war, the Immortal Realm Alliance would not have opened the gate. This was because the cost of opening the gate was too terrifying. Even a super faction would find it difficult to keep the gate open for a long time. On the other side of the gate was Dazhou. Dazhou was located in the center of the Immortal Realm, and was the northernmost state of the Immortal Realm Alliance. The hundreds of Dazhou north of Dazhou had already been completely destroyed and had now become a battlefield for the Divine Union and the Immortal Realm Alliance. Now, Morong Yu and the others were going to be teleported to the battlefield. These are all cannon fodder. Morong Yu followed the crowd and flew toward the gate, sneering inwardly. In war, ordinary soldiers were cannon fodder, and in the two alliances, even immortal kings were just cannon fodder. Even Morong Yu, an immortal high immortal, was nothing more than a high-level cannon fodder. Whoosh! As soon as Morong Yu stepped into the realm gate, the world spun around him. Not long after, he found himself standing on the ground. The speed of the teleportation was extremely fast. In an instant, he had crossed countless states and arrived at Dazhou. As soon as he appeared in Dazhou, an austere aura engulfed him. A faint smell of blood filled the air. Dazhou was one of the strongholds of the Immortal Realm Alliance. Huge military camps occupied the land like prehistoric ferocious beasts that were about to devour humans. As a disciple of the Sky Punisher Palace, Morong Yu had naturally been assigned to the Sky Punisher Palace camp. However, he had been assigned to a military camp called the Scout Camp. The Scout Camp was a military camp where all the scouts were gathered. It was made up entirely of scouts who were in charge of spying on the enemy and the like. This is a cannon fodder camp. The cannon fodder of cannon fodder. Morong Yu felt a little helpless. However, he still headed to the scout camp to report. The mortality rate of the scout camp was extremely high, but it was also the fastest way to gain merit. Of course, this was on the premise that one could survive. Otherwise, everything would be meaningless. In the plaza of the scout camp, Hundreds of billions of cannon fodder were gathered together and listening to the general of the scout camp on the platform above them. At first, Murong Yu had been dismissive of this general. He hadn't intended to gain any merits by joining the military camp. His main purpose was to kill people and earn star points. As long as he had enough star points, he could increase his strength. Perhaps he could exchange them for supremacy pills. As long as Shenzhen and the others were strong enough, Murong Yu wouldn't need to continue mingling in the Immortal Realm alliance. However, when Murong Yu glanced at the general, his body trembled. Origin Qi. Murong Yu's eyes were filled with shock. This was because he felt the origin Qi from the general. Although the origin Qi was very obscure, Murong Yu still felt it. Early stage immortal supremacy. I wonder which Immortal Realm's enforcer is he? Murong Yu was pleasantly surprised. This trip was right. However, this guy is in the Immortal Supremacy realm. It's impossible to kill him silently with my strength. If I use the Cosmos Bow and Sky-Shaking Arrow, even if I kill him, I might not be able to obtain his origin Qi. Moreover, my identity will be exposed. In this case, it's better not to kill him. However, this person must die. Moreover, he can only die in my hand. Murong Yu glanced at the general again and memorized his name. Sun Haoshan. The commander of the scout camp, the general, was in charge of the scout camp of the Immortal Realm Alliance. He was one of the higher-ups of the Heavenly Punishment Palace in the Immortal Realm Alliance. After Sun Haoshan spoke some nonsense, Murong Yu and a few other Immortal Kings and Immortal Realm experts formed a new team of 10. Everyone, we are teammates now. In the future, we will work together to earn merits and achievement. When Murong Yu and the others had just entered their camp, a late-stage Immortal Monarch expert spoke. On the surface, this person was the strongest among the 10 of them. Murong Yu only glanced at him indifferently. He wanted to see what this guy was going to do. As for the others, especially the 3 Immortal Kings, they looked at each other nervously. After all, the difference in strength between them was too great. In the future, they would have to act together. If the other party was unhappy with him or something, then they would sacrifice their lives for the country. Seeing everyone's reaction, Chen Junjiang nodded in satisfaction and continued, "We are a team. In the future, we will act together. However, since we are a team, naturally, we need a leader." At this point, Chen Junjiang glanced at everyone and continued, "I am the strongest here. Then, I will be the leader. Do you have any objections?" No objections, of course not. The 3 Immortal Kings quickly expressed their opinions. Chen Junjiang nodded in satisfaction and slowly looked at the others. Seeing this, the others also quickly nodded. Who asked him to be stronger? In the end, the 8 of them agreed to Chen Junjiang being their leader. Only Murong Yu did not express his opinion. "Murong Yu, what do you mean by this?" Chen Junjiang looked at Murong Yu with a gloomy expression. A faint cold light flashed past his brows. Although he was very careful and the others did not notice it, Murong Yu saw it. "I have no objections to you being the leader. However, although we are a team, I hope that you will not restrict me. Moreover, I may not act together with you," Murong Yu said indifferently. "Murong Yu, since we are a team, we should have team spirit. How can you act alone? Moreover, even if you act alone, I am afraid that you will die when you go out. Only when the 10 of us act together can we ensure our safety and earn military merit." An early-stage Immortal Monarch expert looked at Murong Yu and said indifferently. Chen Junjiang narrowed his eyes slightly. Looking at Murong Yu, a trace of killing intent flashed past. "Good, good. Since you are willing to act freely, I will not restrict you." Chen Junjiang suddenly laughed. He actually agreed with Murong Yu's words. However, his heart was filled with killing intent. This bastard. Once you leave Dajo, I will kill you. At that time, new members will come in. You cannon fodder are just stepping stones for me to climb up. Chapter 724. Whoosh! Murong Yu turned into a ray of light and rushed out of the Dazhou province, flying toward the north. The northern part of Dazhou was the battlefield between the two large alliances. It was roughly the size of 100 large states. Ever since the two large alliances had been established, this place had become a battlefield for both sides. Murong Yu had already been in Dazhou for half a month. During this time, he hadn't had any missions. However, he had also familiarized himself with the situation on this side. On the battlefield, besides the usual battles between the two armies, there were usually countless people lingering there. Their goal was to kill their enemies and obtain military merit. As long as they had military merits, they could rely on their own military merits to rise steadily in the Alliance army. The higher their status, the more benefits and resources they would receive. For example, ordinary soldiers like Murong Yu only had some basic resources in the army. These resources weren't even enough for cultivation. However, if their status was higher, they would receive more resources. Furthermore, military merits didn't just raise a person's status. There were also corresponding rewards. Royal weapons, monarch weapons, and even imperial weapons were possible. There were also other treasures like immortal meridians. This was the case for both the Immortal Realm Alliance and the Divine Union. Of course, Murong Yu's goal in entering the battlefield wasn't to obtain these resources. His main goal was to obtain military merits and kill enemies to earn star points. Star points could allow Murong Yu to raise his cultivation base or exchange them for other treasures. Military merits could also allow Murong Yu to raise his status in the Immortal Realm Alliance. Whoosh! 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 Not long after Murong Yu left Dazhou, the 9 streaks of light flew over quickly and chased after Murong Yu. In fact, there were countless people who had left Dazhou just like them. The military camp didn't care about them. After all, they were all immortals. They weren't real soldiers. They weren't soldiers of the mortal world. Captain, why are we following Murong Yu? Jiang Yiqing asked Chen Junjiang in confusion. Chen Junjiang's eyes flashed sternly as he grinned. Do you want to obtain military merits? To raise your status so that you can obtain more resources and glory? Yes, that's why we joined the Immortal Realm Alliance. The other 9 nodded. If it wasn't for this, why would they join the Immortal Realm Alliance? If we want to obtain military merits, our entire team must move together. As the saying goes, the more people there are, the more strength there is. This is the only way to obtain military merits in the shortest time. Murong Yu is a member of our team, but he doesn't move with us. He will drag us down like this, so I won't let this happen. Chen Junjiang said with a murderous look, and at the same time, he made a throat-slitting gesture. The rest of the people were shocked, but their hearts turned cold. Murong Yu is only in the elementary stage of the Monarch Immortal Realm. As long as we kill him, there will be others to replace our team. Think about it, the 3 of you are all in the late stage of the Immortal King realm. As long as we earn enough military merits, you can exchange them for treasures that can improve your cultivation. Increasing one's cultivation was what everyone pursued. In the army, as long as they had enough military merits, they might be able to increase their cultivation. So, do any of you have any objections? Chen Junjiang asked coldly as he looked at the crowd. When they met Chen Junjiang's cold gaze, their hearts turned cold. They all shook their heads and said, I have no objections. These trash. Up ahead, Murong Yu was no longer flying in the sky. They were already close to the depths of the battlefield. If they continued to fly in the sky, they might be used as a rake. Not only would the people from the Divine Union attack him, but the people from the Immortal Realm Alliance would also attack him. After all, killing the enemy could earn military merits, and killing one's own people could also earn military merits, as well as various treasures and resources. Now it was time to talk about military merits. The uniforms of the Divine Union and the Immortal Realm Alliance were different. It was easy to tell which alliance they belonged to based on their uniforms. Furthermore, each of them had an identity token. After killing the other party, military merits could be calculated based on the identity token of the other party. At this point, some people might have doubts. Could one exchange military merits with an identity token? Wouldn't that mean that one could forge an identity token? That was impossible. The identity tokens of both sides were specially made, so it was impossible to forge them. Moreover, there was spiritual aura in the identity token. Even if the identity token could be forged, the spiritual aura couldn't. Therefore, this would put an end to the possibility of forging an identity token. However, on the battlefield, it wasn't just the enemy that was important. One's own people were also important. After all, people on the battlefield would more or less have some of the enemy's identity tokens, as well as their own treasures and resources. After killing these people, one could obtain military merits and resources. Therefore, on the battlefield, the most dangerous person wasn't the enemy, but one's own people. This was because one could tell at a glance that the enemy was an enemy. They would either attack directly or retreat. On the other hand, one's own people would be unwittingly set up. Whoosh! Murong-yu stopped on a mountain peak. Captain, Murong-yu seems to have discovered us. Jiang Yiqing couldn't help but tell Chen Junjiang nervously when he saw Murong-yu stop suddenly. It's best that he stops. Chen Junjiang grinned maliciously before his figure flickered and he flew towards Murong-yu. He landed directly in front of Murong-yu. Murong-yu looked at Chen Junjiang and the others with a gloomy face and said in a deep voice, "What are you doing? Why are you following me?" "I'm just trying to kill you. However, I'll give you a choice. Kneel down immediately and submit to me. Become my slave and I'll spare your life." Chen Junjiang looked at Murong-yu and said disdainfully. In his eyes, Murong-yu was only an early-stage immortal high immortal. The gap between him and Murong-yu was too big. He could kill Murong-yu with a single finger. Kill me? With just trash like you? Murong-yu couldn't help but laugh. He really found it funny. These people were only high immortals, but they said that they wanted to kill him? Didn't they know that he could easily kill immortal emperors before he made a breakthrough? Murong-yu, kill yourself. A mid-stage immortal high immortal walked over and looked at Murong-yu indifferently. Murong-yu, don't blame us. Who asked you to be a member of our team? Yet, you don't know what's good for you and want to act alone? The immortal king also walked away and said coldly to Murong-yu, "Do you really want to kill me? I'll give you a chance to choose now. If you follow me, I'll guarantee you a bright future. But if you follow Chen Junjiang, you'll be asking a tiger for its skin. You'll die a horrible death. Don't you see Chen Junjiang's wild ambition? They're only using you as tools. Once you're useless, you can only die." Murong-yu placed his hands behind his back and said calmly. Killing intent flashed in Chen Junjiang's heart as he shouted angrily, "Murong-yu, you don't have to drive a wedge between us. It's useless. After killing you, there will be more people in the camp to replace you. At that time, we'll definitely stand out." "You pieces of trash still want to stand out?" Murong-yu couldn't help but laugh. Then, his face turned cold as he said in a deep voice, "Do you really want to follow Chen Junjiang to kill me? It doesn't matter if you're not strong enough. The most important thing is your foresight. Once you make the wrong choice, you'll be consigned to eternal damnation. Don't say any more. We've already decided on Captain Chen Junjiang." An immortal king said in a deep voice. He had already started to flatter. "Since that's the case, all of you can go to hell." Murong-yu said indifferently, "All of you, come at me. I'd like to see what ability you have to kill me." "How dare you!" An immortal monarch realm expert shouted angrily. He took a step forward and punched towards Murong-yu. "Your strength should be about 2,000 Earth Dragons' power, right? Although it's not very strong, it's still barely enough. If you follow me, I can make you even stronger. However, since you dare to attack me, there's only one consequence for you." Morong Yu sneered and pointed out. Bang! Before anyone could react, the middle stage Immortal Monarch Realm expert had already exploded into a cloud of blood mist and dissipated into the air. Seeing this scene, the remaining 8 people were greatly frightened, and with a swish sound, they retreated out of the area. Each and every one of them looked at Morong Yu in shock, as if they had just seen a ghost. Jiang Yiqing looked at Morong Yu and said incoherently, You killed him? His face turned red and white as he looked at Morong Yu. Morong Yu didn't even look at Jiang Yiqing. He only looked at the shocked Chen Junjiang and said indifferently, Kill yourself. Maybe I'll leave you with an intact corpse. Chen Junjiang was shocked beyond words. He was a late-stage Immortal Monarch Realm expert. He could also kill the middle-stage Immortal Monarch Realm expert. However, he couldn't do it as cleanly as Morong Yu. In other words, Morong Yu was stronger than him. That's impossible! Chen Junjiang roared in his heart. He didn't believe that Morong Yu was stronger than him. Let's attack together and kill him. Although he didn't admit that Morong Yu was stronger than him, Chen Junjiang knew that he was no match for them. With a loud roar, he took the lead and sent a palm strike at Morong Yu. You really don't know what death is. I told you to kill yourself, but you still want me to do it. Sigh. Morong Yu shook his head and pointed out again. With a bang, Chen Junjiang exploded into a cloud of blood mist. He couldn't be more dead. Plop, plop. Seeing how fierce Morong Yu was, the remaining people's faces changed again. They no longer had any thoughts of resistance. As for the 3 immortal kings, they directly knelt down. I'm willing to submit. I'm willing to be your slave. Please don't kill us. Chen Junjiang forced us to do this. The 3 immortal kings begged loudly with tears streaming down their faces. I've already given you a chance. Morong Yu shook his head and disappeared in a flash. But right after he left, bang, 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 the few immortal kings exploded and were all killed. Chapter 725. After killing the 9 members of his original team, Morong Yu went deep into the battlefield. During this process, Morong Yu encountered many people from his own side. Many people from the Immortal Realm Alliance were also killed by him. Of course, Morong Yu would not directly kill the people from the Immortal Realm Alliance. These people were all soldiers fighting against the Divine Union. Well, they could also be considered cannon fodder. Although they were useless, the victory of the war depended on the accumulation of cannon fodder. The people from the Immortal Realm Alliance killed by Morong Yu were the first opponents of Morong Yu. In fact, there were many people who had designs on Morong Yu as he flew through the battlefield alone. However, given Morong Yu's strength, these people were just sending themselves to their deaths. They sent a lot of resources and star points to Morong Yu. Given Morong Yu's current strength, he would be the #1 expert if he appeared on the battlefield. Coupled with his speed, no one would be able to stop him. An immortal Venerate powerhouse could kill Morong Yu. However, how could there be an immortal Lord powerhouse on the battlefield? Powerhouses of this level were generally the upper echelons of the army, overseeing the rear. They would not appear on the front lines unless it was a decisive battle. Huh? There's a group of people ahead? There seems to be a lot of them. Morong Yu's flying body suddenly spread its wings like a giant bird as he flew to the top of a mountain in front of him. Then, he hid and looked ahead. The environment of the battlefield was very special. The suppression of spiritual consciousness was very strong. One had to know that this place had been a large province of the immortal realm before, so there was no suppression of spiritual consciousness. However, the suppression of spiritual consciousness was similar to when he had first entered the divine tomb. It could not even see as far as one's eyes. In this regard, Morong Yu had heard that countless powerhouses from the Divine Union and the Immortal Realm Alliance had gathered and worked together to change the laws of heaven and earth, creating an environment that was suitable for fighting with large armies. Otherwise, with a sweep of spiritual consciousness, one would be able to see clearly where the other party was lying in ambush, and where there were people. This would lose the feel of a battlefield. Perhaps the origin of the world of immortals is also involved. Otherwise, no matter how powerful they were, it would be difficult for them to change the laws of the heavens and earth. They're here. An army of 100,000? Murong Yu's eyes suddenly lit up. I didn't expect to encounter such a group of soldiers as soon as I came out. Murong Yu's face lit up with joy, and with a flicker of his body, he suddenly spread his wings like an eagle and charged towards the 100,000-strong squad. He could already tell that the strongest among the army was only a late immortal emperor. They posed no threat to him. Whoosh! Murong Yu descended from the sky and stood in front of the army. Seeing Murong Yu appear, the 100,000-man team became alert, their blades unsheathed as they observed their surroundings, ready to engage in battle at any moment. However, after observing for a long time, there was no movement in the surroundings. It seemed that only Murong Yu was there. Don't look, there's no one around. Seeing these people's reactions, Murong Yu couldn't help but remind them. You're alone? Are you seeking death by standing in front of us? In the army, one of the soldiers looked at Murong Yu and laughed loudly. You're thinking too much. I'm here to kill all of you. Kill yourselves. I'll leave your corpses intact, Murong Yu said indifferently. There was no way Murong Yu would let these people go. Even if they handed over their identity tokens, Murong Yu still wouldn't let them off. This was because he could still obtain star points after killing these people. To him, star points were much more important than military merit. Ha ha ha! Hearing Murong Yu's words, the 100,000-man team burst into laughter. They felt that Murong Yu was too funny. You're just an ant in the early stage of the immortal monarch realm. How dare you say that you're going to kill us? You even want us to kill ourselves? Don't you know that any one of us here can kill you? An immortal emperor held back his laughter and said disdainfully to Murong Yu. Indeed, the weakest among the 100,000-man team was an intermediate immortal duke. The strongest among the 100,000-man team was a late-stage immortal emperor. Moreover, their opponent was a titled immortal emperor. Moreover, there were a few titled immortal emperors among the 100,000-man team. This army had most likely been assembled because of the Divine Union's actions. Given the overall strength of this army, even if they couldn't sweep the entire battlefield, they were definitely an invincible existence in small-scale battles. They were perfect for sneak attacks and hunting. Alright, that's enough. Lin Fei, go and kill him. Don't interfere with our mission, one of the titled immortal emperors said indifferently. Yes. The one called Lin Fei stood up and walked towards Murong Yu with murderous intent. Lin Fei was an intermediate immortal duke. Brat, although you're alone, you can still give me an identity token. Die. Lin Fei grinned maliciously as he threw a punch at Murong Yu's head, intending to kill him in one blow. Murong Yu sighed helplessly as he shook his head. Why is it that no one believes me when I speak the truth? He felt frustrated. With his strength, killing these people would be as easy as flipping his hand. However, why did these people not believe him? In fact, Murong Yu was only an early-stage immortal duke. If he said he had 700,000 Earth Dragons' power, no one would believe him. Since that's the case, then all of you can die, Murong Yu indifferently said as he looked at Lin Fei, who was charging towards him. Bang! With a single glance from Murong Yu, Lin Fei immediately exploded into a bloody mist and dissipated into the air. Even when he died, he didn't know how he was killed. Seeing this scene, the faces of the people who were looking at Murong Yu with disdain instantly changed. There's something strange about this brat. I'll take him down. One of the titled celestial emperors said with a cold glint in his eyes as he stepped forward and extended his hand to grab Murong Yu. 200,000 Earth Dragons' power? A titled celestial emperor is indeed powerful. However, he's still too weak, Murong Yu said as he shook his head and threw a punch at the titled Celestial Emperor. Boom! A deafening explosion rang in the air as Murong Yu killed the titled Celestial Emperor with just a punch. On the other hand, Murong Yu remained motionless. Even his clothes did not flutter. After all, he had 500,000 more Earth Dragons' power than the titled Celestial Emperor. With his strength, he could easily crush the titled Celestial Emperor. Shocking! Shocking! Upon seeing this, the titled Celestial Emperors were stunned. All of them stood rooted to the ground in a daze. He might be a celestial venerable who's pretending to be a pig to eat a tiger. Let's kill him together. Indeed. No matter how strong he is, he's only one person while we have 100,000 people. Even if he's a celestial venerable, he won't be able to stop us. The people from the Divine Alliance snapped out of their daze and prepared to kill Murong Yu. However, at this moment, Murong Yu sneered and said, "It's too late. Spatial storm, spatial shackle, spatial slash, and spatial laceration." Murong Yu shouted. The 100,000 people felt as though they had fallen into a swamp. Their movements became sluggish and sluggish. At the same time, the space around them began to distort and tear apart as spatial storms appeared. At the same time, sharp sabers and swords formed from spatial energy appeared one after another and ruthlessly attacked the 100,000 people. In just a blink of an eye, more than 10,000 people were killed. Their deaths were inevitable. However, this was only the beginning. Although Murong Yu could not imprison them for a long time, it was enough for him to kill a lot of them even if he could only imprison them for a short moment. Every time a spatial storm erupted, thousands of people would be killed. Moreover, the spatial storms did not disappear immediately. Instead, they grew larger and larger like tornadoes. Spatial slash. Murong Yu roared as a war blade formed from spatial energy slashed down. Pooh! Thousands of people were instantly sliced into 2,000 armies elephant drawing fist. Murong Yu took a step forward and disappeared from his spot. In just a blink of an eye, he appeared in front of a titled Celestial Emperor. He threw a punch at the titled Celestial Emperor. Bang! The titled Celestial Emperor with more than 200,000 Earth Dragons' energy did not even have time to react before he was killed by Murong Yu's punch. The space shook. As Murong Yu shouted inwardly, the space and the crowd began to shake violently. Every time the space shook, the surrounding void would be destroyed. If the Celestials from the Divine Alliance did not escape in time, they would be reduced to a bloody mist. Sword River Snowstorm. The celestial eradication sword suddenly appeared in Murong Yu's hand before he slashed it down. In just a blink of an eye, hundreds of millions of divine swords appeared out of thin air and wreaked havoc in the area like a divine dragon swinging its tail. Wherever the divine swords passed, the void would shatter. Nobody could stop them. At this point, 70,000 to 80,000 people had been killed. Only a few breaths had passed since Murong Yu made his move. Omnidirectional slaughter. Murong Yu suddenly let out a roar and unleashed his ultimate move. Rumble. With Murong Yu's body as the epicenter, a terrifying energy swept out in all directions. Pooh! 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 Large swaths of experts were killed again. In the end, only a few dozen of the strongest celestial emperors remained standing. The others were all killed by the shockwave. At this moment, Murong Yu was not even under attack. Devil! You're a devil! A late-stage celestial emperor shouted in horror as he looked at Murong Yu. Devil! Murong Yu couldn't help but laugh. He then took a step forward and attacked again. As soon as the voice fell, no one else other than Murong Yu cursed, "You devil, I curse you to die without a complete corpse." Chapter 726. 5 billion star points. Not bad. Murong Yu was hiding in a mountain range on the battlefield. After counting his gains, he nodded with a smile. Murong Yu had been on the battlefield for half a month, and his star points had reached 1.5 billion. Originally, he had 1 billion star points. In other words, he had gained 500 million star points in this half a month. The speed of earning star points was extremely fast, although it was not as fast as directly devouring a city. However, the gains on the battlefield were not only star points, but also a large amount of resources and military merit. Murong Yu did a rough calculation and discovered that the number of identity tokens he'd obtained had already exceeded 5 billion. 5 billion identity tokens seemed like a huge number. However, to this battlefield, to the Immortal Realm Alliance, 5 billion identity tokens could barely raise Murong Yu's position. It would probably be something like a captain. A mere captain was useless to Murong Yu. If he wanted to enter the upper echelons of the Immortal Realm Alliance, he would have to at least become a general in the army. Otherwise, those below the rank of general would only be low-level existences. At this rate, I will be able to earn more than 100 billion star points in a few years' time. At that time, even if I can't break through the chaotic heavenly record, I can still use the star points to increase my cultivation. In addition to a large number of star points and identity tokens, there are also a large number of resources. If not for the existence of the Heavenly Punishment token, just these resources alone would be enough to make me crazy. Even those super sects can't compare to these resources. Murong Yu had obtained a token worth 5 billion, but the resources he'd obtained weren't limited to 5 billion. This was because he had only kept the enemy's identity tokens. As for the Immortal Realm Alliance's identity tokens, he had not kept them. In other words, the identity tokens Murong Yu had obtained were at least 3 times more than the identity tokens he had obtained, or even more. His gains in this half a month were almost comparable to that of an ordinary super sect. Of course, this was only in terms of quantity. In terms of quality, it was incomparable. After all, the resources of those people that Murong Yu had killed were only ordinary things. There was nothing too extraordinary. Even so, his gains were still very shocking. Murong Yu also understood why so many forces joined the Immortal World Alliance and the army. Because the benefits obtained from the battlefield were simply too terrifying. Over the past few months, the number of Divine Union troops has been increasing. The number of people in each team is also increasing. Murong Yu frowned. In the beginning, he often encountered teams of a few, dozens, or even hundreds of people. When he encountered the 100,000-strong team, he already felt that there were too many of them. However, at this point in time, a team of 100,000 was already considered the smallest. Murong Yu had even encountered a team of several 100 million people. The other party seems to be searching for something on the battlefield. Could it be that they are looking for me? Murong Yu pondered. In fact, Murong Yu's guess was not wrong. What he didn't know was that he had already been called a devil. Because in this half a month, too many people had died at his hands. More than 1 billion people had died. Moreover, no matter how many people there were in Murong Yu's team, none of them managed to escape. On the battlefield, hundreds of billions of people were killed at every turn. It was not uncommon for there to be trillions of people in each battle. However, that was only the majority of the battles. Without a celestial venerate, how could a person kill 1 billion powerhouses? It was impossible. This was especially true when Murong Yu was only a celestial duke. Naturally, the people in the Divine Union were unaware of Murong Yu's identity. They only knew that he was Murong Yu. In fact, Murong Yu had always been using Mo Fo's identity on the battlefield. In fact, the reason the 10-man team knew Murong Yu's name was because Murong Yu was too lazy to use Mo Fo's identity. After all, it was useless for those insignificant people to know his name. Do you know? Recently, a devil has appeared on the battlefield. I heard that the person from the Immortal World Alliance is only an early-stage celestial duke. However, He single-handedly killed more than 10 billion powerhouses. He even killed many titled celestial emperors. An early-stage celestial duke killed a titled celestial emperor? Are you kidding me? Kidding my ass. Haven't you noticed that many of the Divine Union's troops have gathered together? Moreover, more and more people are gathering together. Not many troops dare to act alone. It's all because of that devil called Mofo. Those people are too useless. It's ridiculous. He's only an early-stage celestial duke, but he managed to kill titled celestial emperors. The Immortal World Alliance must be exaggerating to lower the morale of the Divine Union. Don't doubt it. I heard that celestial venerates from the Divine Union have entered the battlefield. You should know that celestial venerates aren't allowed to enter the battlefield. Really? Why would I lie to you? An old man from my sect who's a celestial venerate has already snuck into the battlefield to kill Mofo. Hee. I heard that the Divine Union has placed a bounty on Mofo. If I can kill that Mofo, haha, I will be rich. What bounty? If you can kill Mofo, you'll be promoted to a captain. On top of that, you'll have an imperial weapon and countless celestial meridians. TSK. You'll be promoted to a captain if you kill Mofo? That's a captain we're talking about. One rank higher than that would be a general. You're only one step away from entering the upper echelons of the Divine Union. I can't believe the Divine Union is offering such a high bounty. It seems like Mofo has really shaken the upper echelons. That's why you know what I mean. Just as Murongyu was taking inventory of his loot, he heard a nearby team talking about him. You'll be promoted to a captain if you kill me? It's making me want to kill myself. Murongyu inwardly chuckled. The Divine Union was really generous. A captain was considered a high-ranking official in the Divine Union. Even if they didn't have to do anything, they would still receive a lot of resources. I'm afraid things aren't that simple. It's impossible for them to be promoted just because I killed 1 billion people. Don't tell me they already know my identity? Murongyu suddenly thought of this possibility. That's right. That's why the Divine Union is so high-profile. However, you want to kill me? Let's see if you'll kill me or I'll kill you. A celestial venerate is worth at least 100 million stars. Murongyu's eyes flashed fiercely. If that's the case, I'll add more firewood to make the fire burn brighter. The more celestial venerates there are, the better. Murongyu made up his mind. Then, he disappeared from where he was standing in a flash. The troop of 5 was shocked by Murongyu's sudden appearance. They instinctively retreated as one of them looked at Murongyu warily. However, when they saw that the person standing in front of them was merely an early-stage celestial duke, they were infuriated. After all, they were all late-stage celestial emperors. Moreover, 2 of them were titled celestial emperors. As for the remaining 3, they were not weak either. Upon seeing their reaction, Murongyu scoffed disdainfully. You think you can kill me with just the 5 of you? After all, they were a troop of 5 late-stage celestial emperors. Even if Murongyu didn't want to despise them, he had no choice but to look down on them. You're a mofo? One of the enraged titled celestial emperors was overjoyed when he saw Mofo. Mofo? Are you that Mofo? The others also laughed. At the same time, powerful divine consciousness surged out of their bodies and locked onto Murongyu. Then, they spread out and surrounded Murongyu. If we kill him, we'll be promoted to captain. At that time, our troop's strength will increase tremendously. Haha. One of the titled celestial emperors laughed as he looked at Murongyu. It was as though he could already see himself being promoted to captain. Murongyu shook his head. He could not be bothered to waste his breath on these people. He took a step forward and threw a punch at the titled celestial emperor. The titled celestial emperor shouted as he stretched his hand out to grab Murongyu. Take him down. Murongyu shook his head. His divine fist was invincible as he charged forward bravely. Bang! A loud explosion rang in the air as Murong Yu's punch landed on the titled Celestial Emperor's body. The titled Celestial Emperor was instantly reduced to a cloud of blood mist. The others were shocked when they saw this. However, before they could react, Murong Yu had already made his move. Boom! Boom! Murong Yu struck out 4 times consecutively. With each strike, he killed the titled Celestial Emperors. These late-stage Celestial Emperors could not even withstand a single strike from Murong Yu. He was indeed invincible among those below Celestial Venerables. After collecting their identity tokens and resources, Murong Yu soared into the sky and left the area. There's no need to keep a low profile anymore. I should be as high profile as possible. It's best if I can lure those Celestial Venerables out, Murong Yu thought to himself as he activated the weapon formula and transformed into a streak of light as he charged forward. It did not take long before he encountered a group of 100 million people. Without hesitation, Murong Yu launched an attack. He unleashed all sorts of ultimate moves and killed the group of 100 million people in less than an hour. Half a day later, Murong Yu encountered another group of 100 million people. Similarly, he unleashed his most ferocious attacks. Heaven and earth crumbled, the sun and moon dimmed, and blood flowed like a river. Many powerhouses died. Apart from a few hundred powerful and fast cultivators who managed to escape, the rest of the hundreds of millions of people turned into Murong Yu's stars. Half a month later, Murong Yu's star points had reached an astonishing 5 billion. In other words, he had obtained 4 billion stars in half a month. Chapter 727. Yes, the team in front has 10 billion people. If I can kill all of them, I will obtain at least 1 billion star points and 10 billion identity tokens. Murong Yu was hiding in a swamp as he watched the Divine Union team slowly approach. This team of 10 billion people was the largest one Murong Yu had ever encountered in the Divine Union. If he could devour all of them, he would definitely gain a lot. 10 billion people. Even if they are gathered together, they will still be scattered within a radius of 10 million miles. Although they aren't very concentrated, they aren't scattered either. However, it will be somewhat difficult to devour all of them. Given Murong Yu's current strength, the Zai technique could already allow him to confine everything within a radius of 10 million miles. However, he didn't just confine the void within a radius of 10 million miles. He also confined the 10 billion immortals. If the power of those immortals was concentrated, it would really be earth-shattering. They could easily tear the void apart and shatter Murong Yu's spatial shackles. They would probably be able to shatter Murong Yu's attack in an instant. However, Murong Yu wouldn't be able to destroy 10 billion immortals in an instant. Even a true immortal venerate. In fact, an ordinary early-stage immortal venerate could only sneak away when they saw this team of 10 billion people. Although there weren't any immortal venerate powerhouses among the 10 billion people, the combined power of 10 billion immortals could easily tear apart an immortal venerate powerhouse. Damn it! Where the hell is this place? The members of the Divine Union team found it difficult to walk through the swamp. Thus, they couldn't help but curse out loud. The swamps of the immortal world had a huge restrictive effect on immortals. If they didn't fly directly over the swamp, even though they were immortals, it would be difficult for them to walk through the swamp like ordinary people in the mortal world. However, for some reason, this team of 10 billion people could only walk through the swamp and not fly in the sky. Besides making it difficult for them to walk, the dense fog emitted by the swamp also greatly hindered their vision. ****starred. If I find him, O foe, I will definitely beat him to death. Because of him, we are forced to walk in this disgusting swamp. It turned out that the number of people from the Divine Union that had appeared on the battlefield had been increasing. This was all because of Murong Yu. There were too few of them. Once they encountered Murong Yu, they would all be killed, not to mention killing Murong Yu. If there were too many people, They were afraid that Murong Yu would flee at the mere sight of them. Therefore, the number of Divine Union troops had ranged from a few 100 million to 10 billion people recently. Moreover, these people gathered together and continuously swept through the battlefield. Their goal was to lure Murong Yu out. With the strength of these teams, even if there were no immortal venerables, they could easily kill Murong Yu. Moreover, whenever they encountered people from the Immortal Realm Alliance on the battlefield, they would crush them like the autumn wind sweeping away fallen leaves. After all, the Immortal Realm Alliance didn't take the same action as the Divine Union, gathering hundreds of millions or even tens of billions of people, unless they were preparing for a big battle. Otherwise, they would usually move in small teams. However, over the past month, many people from the Immortal Realm Alliance had been forced to return to Dajo. On the battlefield, the Divine Union's troops were getting bigger and bigger. Whenever they encountered these troops, the small teams from the Immortal Realm Alliance would only end up being crushed. Not only were they unable to kill the Divine Union's people, but they were also constantly being hunted down. After a long time, who in the Immortal Realm Alliance would still dare to stay on the battlefield? Of course, Murong Yu was an exception. When did the fog in this swamp turn pink? This is really strange. It was unknown when it started, but the originally white fog had turned completely pink at this time. Looking from afar, the entire swamp was pink in color, giving off a charming and gentle feeling. Be careful. This pink fog is really strange. Everyone, hold your breaths. An immortal Emperor powerhouse shouted. Hurry up and leave this damned swamp. Everyone held their breaths and walked quickly into the distance, wanting to leave this damned swamp. However, this swamp was huge and they didn't fly directly. Instead, they walked step by step on the swamp. No matter how fast they were, there was a limit to their speed. During this process, these immortals, who were holding their breaths, didn't realize that even though they were holding their breaths, the pink fog was still seeping into their pores and entering their bodies. Li Xinbua, what's wrong with you? Why is your whole body so red? One of the immortals in the group asked in shock when he realized that his companion's body was actually red, as if blood was seeping out. At the same time, he also realized that Li Xinbua's breathing was rapid and his eyes were filled with lust. Naked lust? Look, roar. Li Xinbua didn't answer the immortal's question. Instead, he let out an angry roar. With a flash of his body, he pounced on a female immortal not far away from him and pushed her to the ground. Rip! Li Xinbua's power shook, and instantly, the female immortal's clothes were completely torn apart. At the same time, Li Xinbua had already pinned the stunned female immortal to the ground and was about to mount her. Li Xinbua, you bastard, are you crazy? Seeing Li Xinbua's appearance, the surrounding people were suddenly shocked. An immortal roared and rushed forward. With a punch, he sent Li Xinbua flying. He spat out blood and fell into the swamp in the distance. Roar! Li Xinbua roared angrily again. He didn't even look at the immortal who had injured him. With a sway of his body, he pounced on the female immortal who had been knocked down by him. This bastard is crazy. The others were furious to see Li Xinbua like this. An immortal monarch even made a move to imprison him. However, even though he was restrained, Li Xinbua continued to roar and struggle, wanting to pounce on the female immortal. At the same time, among the 10 billion people, Li Xinbua's situation appeared one after another. Not long after, at least 100 million weaker immortals were in the same situation. Immediately, the people in the group realized what was going on. These people seemed to have been poisoned, and the pink fog in the swamp was probably the culprit. Imprison those people and leave this damned swamp as soon as possible. An immortal lord roared and was about to fly away. Yes, he was about to fly away and continue walking on the ground. Boom! However, at this moment, a loud sound was heard. Li Xinbua, who was the first to react, suddenly exploded. What's going on? Seeing that Li Xinbua had actually exploded by himself, The surrounding people were shocked. However, before they could figure out what was going on, a series of loud sounds came from the group. The immortals who had been poisoned and imprisoned were being blasted apart one after another. It was very strange. "Don't care about them, hurry up and leave this swamp," someone shouted. Thus everyone flew up. However, in this short period of time, many more immortals were poisoned. In a few breaths of time, more than 500 million people showed the same symptoms as Li Xinbua. In fact, they weren't poisoned in a short period of time. It was just that they had already been invaded by the pink morning. Now it was finally acting up. Moreover, these 500 million people weren't the end. It was just the beginning. More and more immortals began to act up. "Want to leave here? Too late." Murong Yu suddenly rose from the depths of the swamp and sneered, unleashing his most violent attack. Boom! 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 Murong Yu's first move was his ultimate move. Spatial Storm, Omnidirectional Kill, and other AoE moves were constantly unleashed by him. Every time he attacked, a large number of immortals would fall. These 10 billion people were too densely packed. Murong Yu casually threw a punch and tens of millions of immortals fell like raindrops. During this process, Murong Yu increased his speed to the maximum. He turned into a stream of light and constantly moved through the swamp. Every time he appeared, immortals would fall like raindrops. In that place, Murong Yu hadn't even paused for an instant. Because of this, the people of the Divine Union couldn't attack him at all. They could only be killed by Murong Yu. In a few breaths of time, hundreds of millions of people had been killed by Murong Yu. In addition to those who had been blown up by the pink morning, more than 1/10 of the 10 billion people had been killed. In other words, more than 1 billion people had been killed in a few breaths of time. Boom! While Murong Yu was on the move, killing the immortals, Murong Yu suddenly stopped. Suddenly, a violent aura surpassing that of an immortal emperor erupted from the crowd and soared into the sky. "Mo, you actually appeared. Today, I will take you down." A furious roar was heard as a figure soared into the sky from the crowd like a roc spreading its wings and pounced on Murong Yu. During this process, he suddenly threw out a huge hand, shattering the sky and crushing countless voids as he swatted at Murong Yu. Immortal Venerate? Murong Yu wasn't surprised. Instead, he was delighted. "1,000 Army Elephant Fist!" He roared and threw out a punch. "You are courting death." The immortal Venerate from the Divine Union sneered disdainfully. His huge hand suddenly accelerated and collided with Murong Yu's fist. Chapter 728. In the blink of an eye, Murong Yu's fist and the immortal Venerable's hand collided fiercely. At the moment of collision, time seemed to have stopped. The fist and the hand seemed to have condensed in the void. However, this did not last for even 1/100th of a second. Rumble! All of a sudden, an earth-shattering sound reverberated between heaven and earth in the air. Murong Yu's fist exploded with a "kacha" sound. At the same time, an extremely terrifying shockwave swept out in all directions from the place where the two sides clashed. The void was instantly shattered and annihilated by the terrifying impact force. In less than 1/10 of a second, this terrifying impact had already swept across a radius of 1,000,000 miles. Wherever the impact passed, everything was annihilated. Ah! A late immortal emperor let out an incomparably shrill shriek. He, who was fleeing in panic, was caught up by the terrifying impact. Then, he was directly swallowed by the terrifying impact, and was crushed into fine powder. Even a late-stage immortal emperor expert was crushed into powder without being able to escape. One could imagine how terrifying the impact was, not to mention immortals of other realms. Puff, puff, puff. Wherever the impact passed, the void was annihilated. In an instant, the terrifying impact swept across a radius of 1,000,000 miles. In an instant, billions of immortals within a radius of 1,000,000 miles were all crushed into powder. After a crisp cracking sound, The immortal venerable's hand finally couldn't withstand the terrifying impact and was crushed into powder. Puff! A terrifying force bombarded Murongyu's body, causing Murongyu to feel as if he was hit by a divine mountain. At this moment, his entire body felt like it was about to shatter. He felt a sweetness in his throat and couldn't help but spit out a mouthful of blood. What a terrifying force! Murongyu was blasted hundreds of millions of miles away before he stabilized his body. The life force in his body surged crazily. After a few rounds, his injuries were all healed. Yu Jia. Hichu Luoshu. Murongyu's mind moved, and at the same time, he summoned the feather armor and the Hichu Luoshu to protect himself. He did not run away, nor did he plan to use the heaven and earth bow and heaven's shocking arrow to kill this immortal reverend. This was a good opportunity for him to have a great battle with this early immortal venerable. Moreover, he might even break through in the process of the battle. This is Hichu Luoshu? Zheng Weiyu rushed over and looked at Hichu Luoshu, who was floating above Murongyu's head and shrouding Murongyu in yellow divine light. Zheng Weiyu's face was filled with greed. Brat, as long as you give me the Hichu Luoshu, I can consider sparing your life. In fact, I can even accept you as my disciple. Zheng Weiyu didn't immediately make a move. Instead, he spoke to Murongyu with a face full of greed. You mean I should give you the Hichu Luoshu as a gift to become your disciple? Then become your disciple? Murongyu sneered as he looked at Zheng Weiyu. Exactly. Otherwise, you won't be able to protect the Hichu Luoshu with your strength. Why don't you give it to me and I'll keep it for you? Zheng Weiyu said in a deep voice. His eyes flickered as he spoke. Ha ha! Murongyu suddenly burst into laughter. After a long time, under Zheng Weiyu's impatient expression, Murongyu stopped laughing and sneered. I really wonder how you managed to cultivate to the immortal venerable realm. How could you be such an idiot? All of you are the same. Or do you think you can kill me today? Zheng Weiyu glared at Murongyu with murderous intent. Since that's the case, then you can die. As he spoke, he took a step forward and shattered the void, charging towards Murongyu. Spatial barrier. Spatial barrier. Spatial storm. Spatial slash. Murongyu shouted in his heart. In an instant, he launched hundreds of millions of attacks towards Zheng Weiyu. Brat, today I'll let you know what true strength is, what it means to be vulnerable, and what it means to be a treasure. Zheng Weiyu sneered. Divine light flickered on his body as he soared into the sky. God-slaying palm. Zheng Weiyu roared and struck out with his palm. A giant golden palm condensed in the sky and erupted with a terrifying force. It shattered the void and caused the sky to tremble. Then, he ruthlessly swatted his hand down at Murongyu. Suddenly, a giant golden palm print appeared in the sky. This was because the giant golden palm had created a huge hole in the void. As for Murongyu's spatial shackles, spatial armbands, and the like, they all shattered in the face of the giant golden palm. They couldn't even withstand a single blow. There's at least 150 dragon force. It's double of my strength. Murongyu's facial expression changed slightly when he saw the incoming giant palm. Although Zheng Weiyu's god-extinguishing palm was just an exaggeration, ordinary early immortal venerables wouldn't be able to withstand this attack. With my current strength, I'm afraid I won't be able to withstand this palm even with the feather armor and the Hichu Luoshu world. However, I won't be so stupid as to face it head-on, Murongyu thought. Immediately, a pair of giant black wings appeared on his back. Asterisk swoosh. Asterisk the black wings flapped violently, shattering the void. Murongyu took advantage of the momentum and turned into a wisp of black light, flying towards the distance. Asterisk Hong Long. Asterisk the moment he flew away, the giant golden palm had already slammed down. A terrifying force erupted, instantly evaporating the swamp below and the ground within a radius of 1,000,000 miles. Looking down from the void, An incomparably huge palm print appeared above the swamp. It was so deep that the bottom couldn't be seen. Poo. Morongyu spurted out a mouthful of blood. Although his speed was unparalleled in the world, he was still grazed by the aftershock of the god-slaying palm. The incomparably terrifying force instantly injured him. However, his injuries were completely healed after being cleansed by the force of life. God-slaying fist. Zheng Weiyu was infuriated when he saw Morongyu escaping. He roared and threw out a punch. A golden fist appeared in the sky. As it vibrated, a terrifying force burst out, shattering hundreds of millions of heavens and penetrating through hundreds of millions of space-time, charging towards Morongyu. The power of this bastard's god-slaying combat technique is really shocking. God-slaying palm, God-slaying fist, I wonder if he still has God-slaying finger, God-slaying claw or something like that, Morongyu thought in his heart. His speed wasn't slow at all as he continued to fly forward. There was nothing he could do about it. Morongyu's original plan was to have a great battle with Zheng Weiyu. Although he knew that Zheng Weiyu was a ruthless man, he still couldn't fight back. Given the power of his god-slaying combat technique, he was afraid that he could even contend with an intermediate immortal venerable expert. It was a total of 800,000 more Earth Dragon force than Morongyu. It was true that Morongyu's strength could contend against an ordinary early immortal venerable, but it was only limited to between 1 million and 1 million Earth Dragon force. Morongyu was powerless to do anything if it exceeded 1 million Earth Dragon energy point. He could only flee upon hearing the news. Just like now, he couldn't fight Zheng Weiyu directly. God-slaying finger! Zheng Weiyu roared and pointed his finger at Morongyu. Like a sword, he ruthlessly slashed at him. This made Morongyu roll his eyes. This guy's combat technique was just as he had expected. However, it was undeniable that the power of this combat technique was indeed terrifying. Morongyu sneered in his heart. So what if your combat technique is powerful? I don't believe that you can unleash such a powerful combat technique without a limit. I don't believe that your power is like mine, endless and limitless. Once your strength is exhausted, it will be your time to die. Zheng Weiyu was extremely anxious at this moment. He desperately wanted to get his hands on Hichu Luoshu. Therefore, he immediately unleashed his strongest attack, God-slaying combat technique. However, the energy consumption of the God-slaying combat technique was too terrifying. He had a limited number of techniques. If he couldn't kill Morongyu within a certain period of time, it would be a tragedy for him. No matter what, even if my strength is exhausted, I have to get my hands on Hichu Luoshu. Zheng Weiyu gritted his teeth as he thought. A god-slaying claw tore through space and time and clawed at Morongyu. However, what made him vexed was that Morongyu had easily dodged his attack. Morongyu's speed was too terrifying. Even though his god-slaying combat technique was powerful, it couldn't do anything to Morongyu's speed. Zheng Weiyu even had a bad feeling. He felt that he might not be able to catch up to Morongyu. His strength is indeed severely depleted. The god-slaying combat technique can only be used twice at most. It definitely won't be used more than 3 times. The Pink Death should be acting up. Morongyu flew as he paid attention to Zheng Weiyu's situation. Fortunately, my speed is unparalleled. Otherwise, I could only escape through Hichu Luoshu. I might not even be able to enter Hichu Luoshu. If it was an expert with 2 million Earth Dragon power, I'm afraid it would be difficult for me to escape. What's going on? Why do I feel a burst of heat? Even lust? Zheng Weiyu suddenly felt strange as he chased after Morongyu. I've never been close to a woman in my life. I'm even an old virgin. Why am I having thoughts about a woman now? Zheng Weiyu was shocked. Because, at this moment, he actually had lust for a woman. To him, this was really strange. Wait, could it be? Zheng Weiyu suddenly thought of those people who were affected by the pink death. Hence, he took a look at his own body. With this look, he almost couldn't help but fall from the sky. Chapter 729. Zheng Weiyu could only see that his exposed skin was red, as if it was bleeding. Even his pores were oozing out traces of blood. I'm done for. I've been poisoned. Zheng Weiyu's body swayed and he almost fell from the sky. At this moment, he was even more shocked to discover that his lust for women? His lust for women was growing stronger. The intense lust and desire made him almost unable to stop himself from leaving. He wanted to find a woman to satisfy his bestial desires. No, am I, an old virgin for hundreds of billions of years, going to give up like this? Impossible. I'm a high and mighty immortal supremacy. How can this drug affect me? Zheng Weiyu roared in his heart and began to circulate his energy to expel the pink morning. However, what shocked him even more was that he didn't find any traces of the pink morning in his body. His body didn't seem to be poisoned at all. Soul! Zheng Weiyu suddenly exclaimed because he saw that his soul was already in a state of excitement. His soul was extremely excited and seemed to be about to collapse. Seeing this, Zheng Weiyu was scared out of his wits. He believed in his own strength. If it was his physical body, he believed that he could expel the pink morning. The drug was expelled. However, if it was his soul, there was nothing he could do. In fact, there weren't many people in the immortal realm who had a deep understanding of the soul. Moreover, no one practiced any cultivation techniques related to the soul. It wasn't that soul cultivation techniques were difficult to cultivate. In fact, there were almost no cultivation techniques related to the soul in the immortal realm. After all, the soul was too mysterious. All this time, no immortal had truly understood the soul. A person could see his own soul and attack the souls of others. When the soul was injured, it could be repaired with all kinds of treasures or wait for the soul to heal itself. However, there had never been a cultivation technique that could repair the soul. Therefore, when Zheng Weiyu saw that his soul had been invaded by the pink morning, he was scared half to death. Whoosh! Zheng Weiyu's flying figure stopped. His expression kept changing. No one knew what he was thinking. My soul has been invaded. I can't expel the pink morning. The drug has been expelled. However, if I don't expel it, I'm afraid I'll end up like those people and explode. No, I must expel the pink morning. I can only let this kid go for now. Zheng Weiyu thought in his heart. His figure flickered and actually shot towards the back. He gave up on pursuing Murongyu. Whoosh! While Zheng Weiyu was escaping, Murongyu's figure flashed and chased after him. Space storm. Space imprisonment. Space barrier. Murongyu's speed was extremely fast, much faster than Zheng Weiyu's. Under his full speed, he quickly caught up. All of a sudden, he unleashed a series of ultimate moves towards Zheng Weiyu in a frenzy. At this moment, Zheng Weiyu's pores had already begun to bleed. The desire in his heart? The hope grew stronger and stronger. He could even feel that he was slowly fading away. Because of this, he became even more anxious. He just wanted to find a place to expel the poison. However, what made him furious was that Murongyu, who was originally being chased by him, had chased after him like a shadow. Zheng Weiyu was extremely furious. Although Murongyu couldn't kill him for the time being, Murongyu didn't need to kill him at all. He only needed to delay him and prevent him from expelling the poison. Then, he would explode and die. Naturally, Zheng Weiyu wouldn't let Murongyu have his way. God-killing palm. Zheng Weiyu roared and turned around to hit Murongyu with his palm. A terrifying power erupted and bombarded the heavens and the earth. The sun and the moon dimmed and the sky trembled. However, Murongyu was like a prophet. When Zheng Weiyu attacked, he flickered and retreated. Zheng Weiyu's attack didn't even hit Murongyu's clothes, let alone kill Murongyu. Despicable, Zhang Weiyu roared and didn't chase after Murongyu. He turned around and flew away. However, Murongyu soon caught up with him and launched a peerless attack. Zhang Weiyu's rage soared to the heavens, and he was enraged. However, when Zhang Weiyu wanted to turn around and kill Murongyu, Murongyu used his speed to escape. When Zhang Weiyu was about to escape, Murongyu chased after him again. After this happened over and over again, Zhang Weiyu was so infuriated that he wanted nothing more than to kill Murongyu right there and then. However, he couldn't do anything to Murongyu. Moreover, during this process, he was shocked to find that he was gradually being engulfed. His soul was on the verge of igniting. Once his soul started burning, he wouldn't be far from death. At this moment, as they chased after each other, the 10 billion immortals who had been hit by the pink morning were almost all dead. At least 90% of them had died. Of course, most of them were killed by the pink morning, while the rest were killed by the shockwaves of the battle between Murongyu and Zhang Weiyu. In other words, most of the 10 billion immortals were dead. Even if there were still some alive, it was probably less than 1%. This was because Murongyu could feel his stars increasing rapidly. Zhang Weiyu should be almost there. He shouldn't be able to hold on for too long. He won't be able to suppress the power of the pink death, and his soul will be destroyed. His body will explode and he'll die. Murongyu calmly chased after Zhang Weiyu as he thought to himself. Zhang Weiyu's entire body was dyed red by the blood that was seeping out. At the same time, his eyes were bloodshot and dazed. His consciousness was gradually fading and he was about to regain control. Roar. Suddenly, Zhang Weiyu let out an explosive roar. His body paused, then he abruptly turned around and charged towards Murongyu. Seeing this, Murongyu was overjoyed. This was because Zhang Weiyu had completely lost his mind. At this moment, he was only driven by the desire in his heart. He charged at Su Mo and treated Su Mo as a woman that he could vent his anger on. Kill! With a roar, Murongyu charged forward and engaged in a fierce battle with Zhang Weiyu. Murongyu didn't feel the slightest bit of pressure as he fought with Zhang Weiyu, who had lost his mind. With his strength and his invincible speed, Zhang Weiyu couldn't get close to him at all. Boom! Finally, Murongyu cut Zhang Weiyu into two with a space slash. However, Zhang Weiyu didn't die. He roared and the two halves of his body charged forward, trying to recombine. However, how could Murongyu let this happen? Space Storm. Space Tear. He unleashed all sorts of ultimate moves. Instantly, countless terrifying energies enveloped Zhang Weiyu. I can't accept this. Zhang Weiyu roared, but he couldn't resist Murongyu's attacks. He was blasted into smithereens. Boom! Boom! The moment Zhang Weiyu was killed, the entire battlefield started to change. Blood clouds, blood rain, and blood-colored lightning enveloped the entire battlefield and exploded wildly. An immortal venerate has fallen on the battlefield. Countless powerhouses from the Immortal Realm Alliance in Dazhou and the Divine Union in the north of the battlefield saw this phenomenon when it appeared. It couldn't be helped. This phenomenon was too terrifying. It was impossible for them not to see it. An immortal venerate has fallen on the battlefield. Who exactly is it? Go investigate. A senior official from the Immortal Realm Alliance in Dazhou roared. At the same time, the Divine Union had the same reaction. An immortal venerate was an extremely important fighting force for both the Divine Union and the Immortal Realm Alliance. They were existences that meant one less immortal venerate. Which immortal venerate didn't hold a high position on both sides? Which one of them wasn't a senior official? Furthermore, immortal venerate powerhouses weren't allowed to enter the battlefield. This phenomenon seems to be a little more intense. It's at least 10 times more intense than when an immortal venerate was killed in Feng City. However, I'm afraid that the immortal venerates from the Divine Union or the Immortal Realm Alliance will discover that an immortal venerate has fallen here. It would be best if an immortal venerate from the divine union comes over. Speaking of the devil, an immortal venerate has actually come over. Furthermore, it's from the divine union. However, this person is also an early-stage immortal venerate. It would still be a little difficult for Luo Yunyang to kill him given his strength. Once more people come over, I won't be able to bear the consequences. I'll just kill him with a single blow. Murong Yu's body flickered. He didn't retreat. Instead, he met the immortal venerate that had shot over. In the end, he stopped when there was a certain distance between them. His hands made a series of grabbing motions in the void, and the cosmic bow and the sky-shaking arrow were instantly caught in his hand. Roar! With a roar, Murong Yu knocked an arrow on his bow and released it. What's going on? The immortal venerate from the divine union rushed over. Before he could figure out what was going on, he saw a ray of golden light shatter the void and rush out with a destructive aura that could destroy the heavens and earth. At this moment, the immortal venerate was taken aback as he felt the aura of death enveloping him. He immediately realized what was going on. With a loud roar, he instantly raised his strength to the limit and punched out with both his fists towards the sky-shaking arrow. His strength couldn't block the sky-shaking arrow at all. He was directly shattered into pieces by the sky-shaking arrow. After that, the heaven-quake arrow didn't stop at all as it charged into his body and shot out from behind him. What's going on? The immortal venerate only had time for this thought to flash through his mind before his vision turned black and his consciousness dissipated completely. Immediately after, his entire body exploded into a cloud of blood mist and dissipated between heaven and earth. Rumble, the change in heaven and earth was getting more and more terrifying. The blood rain, blood clouds, and blood lightning that were originally as red as blood had now turned black. What's going on? Another immortal venerate has fallen. The people from the Divine Union and the Immortal World Alliance were going crazy. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.